This has been a wonderful, long and emotional journey through this game, and thank you to the people who have made this game. It's been an incredible adventure. Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and welcome back to the final time of Missing Time at this point in time. For this time anyways. We have a new journey to go on to now. Select new game. Change name? No. Emmy? Emmy? Hoi! Emmy! Wait for me! Emmy? Let's be together forever, okay? Okay. Who is talking to Emmy though? It always blooms so beautifully here. No matter who he is, this place will always have such a magnetic pull despite the years of horrors it houses. To him, to those who stay, to those who have theoretically moved on. He supposes he isn't the same young soul he once was. He came to pay respect. He doesn't know if he is even allowed to. At least one of them is beyond to be angry with him, and an ownership can hold quite a grudge. At least nobody here, nobody alive, would recognize him. Wizened eyes seek out a certain wooden tablet, hidden behind a veil of incense smoke, and those whose names are more important than hers. He wonders if, in the end, he is truly forgiven. So is this like a sequel to Shazeo's good end? Quote unquote good end? It is difficult sometimes to remember which memory is his own. Well, it could be a sequel to any 4 for good ends, but it doesn't matter now, does it? He did make a promise to her all those years ago. With a small smile and a mischievous grin she would be proud of, he pockets her name. I wish we could be together. I wish I wasn't chained down. I wish I wasn't left behind. I didn't want to be left behind. I didn't want to. I wish. Wishes are for the weak. Are you sure about that? Funny how they had never spent many peaceful moments together. Funny how it could only be achieved after so much grief had passed. Wrinkled fingers trace along the grooves that made her name. He thought of saying something, but stops himself. There aren't many things she would like to hear from him, not after so many years. He knows she loves him more than he did her. Why he became such a fixation, he would never know, and he hadn't the time nor the courage to ask her. To the younger him, it was simpler back then. Even when nothing was ever simple when it came to her. It was easy to move on, try and forget, to suffer and blame her when he couldn't forget. He tried to forgive, but then left him with even more questions, mostly to himself. He wonders if he truly is cursed. Kindness and ownership don't exist in the same sentence. Closing his eyes, face heavensward, he fills his lungs with too pure air and waits until the light dances under his lids. He has a promise to keep after all. He'd like to think she liked the lights. He knows she liked the sense of belonging at least. She liked observing people, and she liked the buzzing of life around her. What a contradicting creature she was. If he focuses, perhaps he could see them. Children weaving through legs taller than their bodies, eyes sparkling with lanterns and gleeful laughter that hadn't a care in the world. Like all things, memories fade with time. He always thought it was a shame that he never remembered this sooner. He wonders if she did. And, like always, it is a bit too late. Fleeting smiles behind decorated stalls, fluttering moonlight around a corner, lingering sadness in eyes far too old for a child. His focus was elsewhere then, and so he passed by a silenced yearning that he could be saved. He catches a pair of goldfish and moves on. Why are you crying? Hick. Onashi do not cry. But if I'm not an Onashi, you are my sister, therefore you are an Onashi. Are we walking within the dreamscape of Shizeo and Emery? Hick, but you don't. You don't want to be my sister. Here. Ah. So this is definitely a very, very long time ago, it would seem. And judging by the condition of this Katsumine, it must have been a time before Shizeo and Emery. For me, he'll watch over you when I'm not there. So stop crying. Okay, it must be those two then. Thank you, Emmy. I love you. Now the question I have in mind about this secret route is it canon to the story? Onashi are guardians of a curse, but aren't they too cursed? She would have loved to travel. Perhaps she already is travelling. He wouldn't know. He doesn't believe in the same thing she did. It has been too long, and he is too tired. He sits down on the warm sand. He doesn't think she is redeemable, nor does he pity her. She wouldn't want it either way, but the other elements were out for her hands. Nobody wants to die, even when there is no other choice. The first instinct engraved into any living creature is to survive. But it wasn't what she fought for, he didn't think. No, it was control. To her, to control was to have everything, even when bits and pieces of the world around her crumbled apart. Even when she herself died with it, she pushed forward, too stubborn, prideful, and with nothing left to lose. She was like the ocean, beautiful and treacherous. He stays until sunset dyes the waves crimson. He gives the water a flower, a single lily, and walks away. In all these people, there is a little bit of darkness. Often he wonders if things had worked out sooner between them, then perhaps something would have changed. But even he knows the answer to that. They were too young, too powerless, and neither had control over what would become of her fate. But of course this dreamscape could be an intertwining of all four good endings. Whatever path she chose to walk, it would ultimately lead to the same destination. Destruction. A voice tells him maybe he could have given her hope. He watches the sparkling merry-go-round and laughs it off. Hope is a meaningless word in her world. She was far broken before he could even get into the picture. Whatever else he could have done, it would only be a band-aid over a gaping wound, useless and easily bled through. And yet he wonders, if they had gotten together, truly together, would the results would have turned out better? Or would they burn together in whatever depths of hell she was sent to? He doesn't think he was ever needed. He'd like to think that he was roped into that unfortunate and tragic chain of events in a lapse of judgment. He'd like to believe that he initially wasn't part of her grand scheme. Some foreshadowing of the other three good ends, with Shizeo being the antagonist. Her grand scheme. But deep down he knows better. It wasn't he that she needed. So he sits under the sun, munching on tasteless dino-shaped nuggets and remises. Bred in captivity, forever wandering in a loop. She can see her reflection in their soulless eyes. She hates it. She hates them. She hates. She reaches out, tapping the glass with a smile. I know that feeling. But it's alright. That's why she climbs her way up the food chain. Not all things predetermined couldn't be changed. No chains were meant to last forever. The cycle is breaking, crumbling apart in her grasp. People like her don't get happy endings. They take what they are given and make the best out of it. But for her, well, there is no such thing as the best. because she wasn't even given the options to have a best end to her existence. She chuckles to herself, following retreating footsteps. She always does like winning. And the cycle broke when the demon was finally released. They had turned this into a semi-public tea house now. A tea ceremony is held every once a week for cleansing rituals and peace of mind. If he closed his eyes, he could still see the bloodstains. Ember's good end. It's funny how one can remember so much, yet the world remembers so little. A heartfelt line here, an apology here. A gesture of goodwill to appease the crowd, a fresh face to erase the past, a little nudge in the right direction, an encouragement backed with lies. He accepts the tea with a smile. Now that he is older, he can also appreciate how well she pulled the strings. Almost. And now, here he is, having tea with another white-haired Onashi. Emery this time. Lips a fine line of discipline and eyes so bright they hide the ruthlessness she was born with. Another wheel is in motion. Will this one be just another name in the book, or will she make nameless history? Closing his eyes, he breathes in the fragrant tea, and remembers. He did make the promise after all, but, at the end of the day, should still be Shizeo, he has to bring her home. Hey there, sleepyhead. Shizeo? You're gonna be late if you keep sleeping like that. Late? Late to where? To everything, dummy! Now get up! Ah, it's lovely seeing you again. But it doesn't matter, does it? You'll always get a do-over if you're late. What? Shizeo? Shizeo, I don't follow, Do-over. Right, Flare? You always love them do-overs. I secretly don't. I spring awake to my phone notification, gasping the lights are still on. I must have fallen asleep. The bright glare of bold red defeat text on the TV screen makes me wince. Yep, fell asleep indeed. I rub the sleep from my eyes. What a strange dream. Reaching for my phone, I raise an eyebrow at the text. Look out the window. What? I scramble to my feet. Sure enough, Shizeo is standing across the street, waving up at me enthusiastically. My jaw unhinges. After throwing on a warm coat and checking if the lights in the master bedroom are off, I hurry outside. This is definitely strange. You made it! What do you mean I made it? What are you doing here? Why, investigating, of course. Don't tell me you've forgotten our study date. Now I am completely off hinge as to what's going on. So that was all a dream. Her cackling laughter makes my head spin, but then she cocks her head to the side, giving me a one-over. Are you alright? You look a little pale. I'm fine. Just a little startled. What are you doing here? And what study date? Are you for real? We teamed up. Are you saying that you've really forgotten? Blinking at Shizeo's pout, I'm at a loss for words. Is she being serious? But how? I could have sworn I went on the investigation with Shaharu already. I did pair up with Shaharu, right? Or was that a dream too? Shizeo raised an eyebrow at me. Crap, I would have looked at me strangely too if I said something so random out of the blue. You know, dreams have messages in them sometimes. Huh? I like reading about them, and my grandma, well, not like I ever got to meet her or anything, but they said she was a dream seer. Don't gawk at me like that, huh? She lets out a long sigh. You really know how to kill a girl's adventurous mood, you know. Sorry? This guy. Some people really have no manners. I came all this way to see you, and you aren't going to invite me in? Huh? Alright, yeah. In we go. Cozy, I like it. She jumps onto my bed, bouncing around a little, standing at the door. I scratch the back of my neck, feeling both exasperated and embarrassed. What the hell am I doing, inviting Shazeo into my room at this hour? You want something to drink? Sure, if you're offering. Well, make yourself comfortable, I guess. Don't be looking into my face now, Shazeo. She winks at me, making my cheeks burn. I already am. Shaking my head, I scurry away as fast as I could to the kitchen. This decided to give me a headache. Hell, I probably am still in a dream somehow. I look at my options. Since I forgot to ask what Shazeo would want, tea, lemonade, soda, or... My eyes slowly move to my dad's liqueur cabinet. She probably would jump at that chance. I close my eyes and shake my head hard. What the hell? I grab one of each selection soft drink, and as an afterthought, 2 slices of the peach cobble Chihara made me. Putting everything into a tray, I go back upstairs and find Shazeo sitting on the floor, looking through the games I have. Here, I'm not sure which one you'd want, so... Thoughtful, thank you. She goes for the sparkling water bottle with pickled plum. Not a fan of sweet stuff, huh? Not really. Besides, it's bad to consume sugar so late anyway. That's a good point. Stretching her legs, Shazeo uses her toes to nudge over a chessboard. I ignore how far her skirt rides up with that motion. You play? No. I found that in my grandpa's study, actually. Aw, you don't know how to play? I know the basics, but it's been a while. For real? Well, we have to play now. Wait, Shazeo, I thought this was a study date. She pops open the latch, pouring out the old wooden pieces. Resigned, I sit back and watch Shazeo sets up the board in record time. Isn't it a bit late to teach someone a game? You know what they say. No time like the present. Exactly, Shazeo. You know which piece is which, at least. She really insists on this, huh? Sort of. Run it by me again? You're hopeless. But she humours me anyway, holding up each little figurine and explaining what they are and what they do. Thankfully, my memory catches up after a bit, and I recognise the last 2 pieces, the tallest ones. Yeah, the king and queen. And those are the king and queen, right? I recognise them by the crowns. Why yes, Flare, you are correct. Coincidentally, one of them is my absolute favourite too. The queen. You gotta be queen, right? Just king does not suit you. I'm sorry, Shazeo, but I am king and you are queen in this. Shazeo smirks. She twirls the 2 pieces around her fingers, splitting them together as if they are dancing. It's funny, isn't it, when the outcome of a game hinges on the weakest link, the key to the kingdom. So frail, so helpless, and yet so precious. So we are the king then, and the other girls are the other chess pieces. She curls the king into her palm and makes a lazy gesture with the queen between her 2 fingers. And then there is this one, the most powerful piece on the chessboard, and yet always second best. She puts both pieces down gently. I study her for a bit. Perhaps I'm still a bit addled from the dream. Perhaps this whole situation is a bit bizarre. Sitting here in my room at 11 PM with Shazeo, playing around with my grandpa's old chess set. Whichever it is, it compels me to ask, which piece do you think you are, Shazeo? You know what? I'm not exactly sure about my place on the chessboard, however. She picks up the queen, smiling. Every girl wants to be the queen, elegant, regal, powerful and dangerous. But we often want something we can't get, right? I'd like to think I know everyone else's place, though. Oh, and what are those? Well, long fingers trace along the edge of a board, twirling around each piece's base before stopping in front of a knight. This one would be Ember, strong, fierce, always runs head first into the front line and has little regard for rules. Heh, I can see that. To that extent, Emery is a bishop. Cliché, right? A lady of faith, always moves with rigid precision, bound by rules and serves so diligently, sorry. She knocks a piece over. And are you saying that Shaharu is the rook? Then there's you. Oh, okay, we're the rook then. A bit unrefined, a bit slow, but proficient when placed at the right position. To protect is what it is meant for. Yeah, the phrase is called rooking, where you can protect the king by using the rook. It's also called castle, by the way. She pulls the piece to the side. Her finger drifts over to the king. And then, Shaharu. I don't need to say more about that. Oh, right. Yeah, because she is frail, but she can move one in every direction. That was unexpected. My eyes go from the chess piece to Shizeo, not knowing exactly what she is getting at. Maybe I don't want to know. My, look at the time. I didn't realise how late it is. Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, you did kind of came late, you know. Sorry for intruding like that. Aww. It was a bit thoughtless of me to show up like this, Flare. I've never been the greatest at keeping track of time. Don't worry about the investigation, alright? I'll do some independent research and I'll email the stuff over to you. Are you sure about that? I mean, I can. No, I insist. Besides, I do enjoy all this detective stuff anyway. Alright, if you're sure. Thanks, Shizeo. No problem. It is dark outside. I shuffle a little on my feet, squinting at the street. Are you sure you're going to be okay walking home like this? Positive. Thanks, though, Flare. Alright, I'll see you at school. See you. As she begins to talk away, I find myself calling out to her. Shizeo? Huh? Flare? What about you? Which piece are you, Shizeo? The queen? A white eyebrow raises, surprised, but then her lips stretch into a smile. Oh, Flare, I said all those things, but in the grand scheme of things, aren't we all just pawns? Do you have to be like that, Shizeo? This is a nice dream and now you've ruined it with that evil smile. However, all things considered, I like to think that I am not on the board. As she walks away. Great. She thinks she is some sort of higher power then. There's no water here. Maybe... Oh, great. This scenario again, for goodness sake, Shizeo. This is another timeline, but yet you still insist on me doing that. Are you crazy? We're not going to fall for the same trap. Oh. This is definitely different. It's not lick the wound, it's lick pancakes. You know I'm gonna press it. Hold on. I'm gonna save this. Yes, this is definitely different. But for goodness sakes, I'm gonna do it. Helping Shizeo into a more comfortable position, I carefully wrap my hands around her ankle above her knees. My heart thunders in my chest so loud I'm afraid Shizeo might have heard it. This will sting a little. Shizeo screws her eyes shut. I take a deep breath and dive down. Yeah. Consciously, my mind registers how... as under the blistering heat of my fingers, the taste of copper touches my tip of my tongue, and I carefully drag along the length of her cut, once, twice, and a third time, just to be certain. Thanks. I actually didn't think you would do it. I let go of her leg, as if it was made of hot iron, flustered. Sorry. No, it's fine. It was my idea after all. I mean, oh hey, it's a box. Not sure if she said that only to change the topic or not. I follow her gesturing finger, lying around the scattering junk almost too innocently as the closed box. I fetched it before she's helping... Whoa! Surely you would help Shizeo up before fetching the box. Alright, let's get you patched up and get back to the classroom. Whoa, we've got ourselves a set of different options here. We can literally go to any of them. Stay home and turn off my phone. Stay home, go to Ember's house, go to Emery's shrine. What? So this is definitely where it starts then. Like there have been some minor variations as to like Shizeo's option of licking but now we're with this. So what the hell? So the portion of the game that we just skipped through has just been basically the same. But what on earth? Stay home and turn my phone off. Stay home. Go to Emma's house. Go to Emery's shrine. So these all diverge into different scenarios then. Emery, Ember, Shizeo, Shiharu? But at any given time we're on Shiharu's route, it would diverge onto a different journey because we never had this CG in Shiharu's route. So let's stay home and turn off my phone. Still not convinced. Oh, we can't skip, so this is definitely a different route. Can the teacher's droning get more exhausting? Perhaps it's my overall mood, but I can't seem to focus on a single thing she said. It doesn't help that everything seems to have darkened outside. Great, I don't really need rain on top of this. Try and divert my attention back to the swimming numbers on my notebook. I wonder what Shiharu is up to now. A shriek pierces the class hazy bubble. Jumping to my feet, I feel my heart slam against my rib cage at the class anxiety's whisperings. Nausea raises my throat. My mind immediately jumps to Kariko's crumpled body. Everyone settle down, there's nothing to be... That. Her scream is drowned in the class' own chorus as a pale shape, a face pierced through the window. At some point, hearing desks and chairs cluttering around me, and everyone rushes to the other side of the classroom. Despite the panic punching repeatedly at my guts, I feel only numb. Oh gods, Emily is right. That is a ghost. Even though the blur of movements around me is mimic, the friction couldn't rise out an ounce of temperature. Instead, it seems to have dropped below zero. Screams grow louder, more hysterical. I started out of my frozen numbness, only to see the floors turned black, masma oozing from every wooden crack. My fight or flight instinct finally kicks in, and I join the few people scrambling for the exit. Emery? It's not the sky that has darkened, it's the shadow of spirits that have blocked out the sun. Horror consumes me as I skid into the corridor. Ghosts, spirits, distorted images of the afterlife roam freely, mixing their ungodly moans into the vortex of terrified sounds. I must find Emery. I tear past panicked classmates, shouting at the top of my lungs, Emery! But there is no flash of white hair in the mass of trampling people. My heart is seized with fear. Shiharu, where is Shiharu? Shiharu, Emery, where are you? It's no use. I realise the noises around me drown out my voice. The throes of fleeing students and teachers alike shove me off my path every time I try and stop at looking into a classroom. The screams are disorientating, made shriller every time a spirit swoops down and goes through an already panicked person. This is what we call a crack in the time-space continuum, because we should have either gone with Emery to the shrine, or to Ember's house, or stayed at home and corresponded to Shizeo's route. But because we picked a choice that was not intendedly scripted for the normal game's route, the time-space continuum says, what the hell, this was not supposed to go down, it's supposed to go either this route, or that route, or entirely another route with Shiharu. But this has cracked an open wall now. A crazy idea pops into my head, prompting me to elbow my way back against the stream of bodies. I almost fall a few times, but as soon as I get to the end of the hallway, it deserts of people. Can't see the same about the ghosts though. Gritting my teeth with arms bracing around my head, I charge forward, taking care not to run through any spirit or look at any of them at that matter. Other than being terrifying, they seem harmless enough, but I'm not going to take my chances. Amidst the chilling moans, I suddenly pick up voices. Feeling my frantic heart stop, I strain my ears to listen, hurrying my steps, until I recognize the voices. Ember, Shizeo, do something! What do you want me to do? This ain't my fault. I'm not the one with powers. I see where this is going. Ember's hellhound form. I freeze mid-steps. What's going on here? Thankfully, both Ember and Shazeo seem so heated in their argument that they never noticed me standing just outside an empty classroom. Well, it wouldn't have happened if your stupid sister didn't slap her stupid seals all over the place. Does she even know what she is doing? Obviously not. Not like this was ever recorded. Do you know what you're doing? Why, you little... A sharp clatter startles me. Oh my god, calm yourself! Throwing stuff around isn't going to solve anything. And you think yelling at me would? Shazeo mutters something that I can't quite catch, to which Ember answers with an annoying Whirly, I cast a glance around myself. The spirit doesn't seem to mean any particular harm now that I calm myself somewhat. It's still creepy as hell though, and I can feel the chill they emit seeping down under my skin. It wouldn't be wise to stick around for long, but I can't but be curious about what is going on. When they start talking again, Shizao's voice has lost some of its edge. What are you going to do about this? We? And I don't know, they don't seem harmful, but they are an inconvenience, and Emery must be on the case already. You don't want her snooping around. There is a snort. Do you? I grip my teeth down, barely stopping it from chattering together. I need to go, but my feet seem rooted at the spot. Are you sure this is going to end well? Confront them. There is definitely something shady here. Shazeo and Ember know something, and while they seem to be riled up by the whole situation at hand, it's because of a completely different reason to the rest of the school. Something in the back of my mind tells me that this is an incredibly bad idea, but I need to know. I need to know what's going on. Shaking, I manage to step forward, trying to clear my throat. The universe doesn't seem to agree with my effort. At first I don't know what it is. A sudden coldness overtakes me, as if I just plunged headfirst into an lake of ice. It's already chilling in here, but this feeling is deeper, like all my organs are frozen over. My mouth drops into a scream as a ghost emerges from my chest. What's going on here? The last drop of heat is sucked out of me as the ghost passes through. Empty eye sockets and broken jaw unaffected by the state it left me in. I collapse to the ground shivering, having no ounce of strength left in me, and as I stare into the chests of my friends. Hurried footsteps approach, but I can't even bring myself to move when Ember and Shazeo stand towering above me. Flare? What are you doing here? Shazeo doesn't seem that phased, her eyes following the ghost. Interesting. It appears to have sapped Flare's strength. She finally turns to Ember, mouth lifting up to a slight smirk. Isn't it obvious? He has been eavesdropping, haven't you, my dear? How long? Your senses really have been dulling. When did you last feed? Fine, don't tell me. Oh my gosh. Shazeo crouches down, peering at me with half-lidded eyes. Her face is so close, I can count each individual eyelash she has, and shrunk at the spike of malice in her eyes. Cold hands cradle my cheek gently at first, then sharp nails clamp down, drawing my blood. Yikes. A startled shout escapes me, and I try to shake her off, but it appears Shazeo was right. I have no strength left to do either. My whimper and weak jerk only made her smile widen. Ah, you sweet poor thing. Shazeo, it can't be helped, you know. Flare is only here for Shiharu. Being oh so observant doesn't help either. Fine. My eyes widen as Ember raises her fist, eyebrows frowning. She looks down at me, lips pressed together. Is that pity in her eyes? Ember, please. This is for the best. My eyes bulged at the sight of her, Ember, now morphed into something even more terrifying than the ghosts. What are you? She doesn't answer me. Glowing eyes glance towards Shizao's smirking face before huge claw-like hands close around my neck. Ember is going to kill me. No. Ember, please! Sorry, Flare. I'll make it painless. No! For a fraction of a second, I feel her hands' claws tighten. I feel and hear the snap. And then darkness. Well, that definitely is an end of itself. End. Yeah, sticking around was a bad idea, but at least we've got ourselves a save point there. Let's leave this ominous classroom. However disturbing the conversation is going, finding out whatever they are babbling about isn't on the top of my agenda at the moment. They certainly don't sound scared, so it's fair to assume they can take care of themselves. And because they don't seem scared, I feel like I should fear for myself. Trying to calm my heart and breathing, I cautiously backtrack. Only when I approach the nearest staircase do I break into a sprint. Whatever Shizeo and Ember are plotting can be taken care of later. I need to get Shiharu and get the hell out of here. Oh, you two. Upon reaching the school's main hall, I spot a clump of people gathering behind Emery, one of whom is Shiharu. Relief floods my senses. I rush over. Shiharu! Emery! Flare! Emery doesn't answer. Beads of sweat gather on her forehead. She brandishes 2 handfuls of crafted paper seals. Chanting rapidly under her breath, Emery forms some kind of shimmering barrier around herself and the students behind her. Spirits who wander close evaporate the moment they touch their barrier. Flare, get in here! Upon a more normal circumstance, I would have had a mini crisis over this, but right now, I don't fancy getting anywhere near the ghosts either. I'll make a dash for Emery's protection, carefully avoiding the spirits on the way. When I get close enough, Shiharu's hands darts out and grabs on my shirt. Pale pace and timidly all gone, she clutches onto me, eyes wide with fear. Oh god. Oh my god, Flare. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm alright. I was looking all over for you. When it happened, we just followed Emery, and... Oh my god, Would you two just shut it? Wow, thanks, Emery. I clamp my mouth shut, though still keeping a reassuring hand on Shiharu's shoulder. Emery seems short-fused today, but I can't blame her. Who would have thought just days after she finished putting up the charms around the school, this would happen? They seem endless. I can't move while maintaining the Keikai. Most of the seals are in place. If everyone empties the premise, I can conduct a mass purification. You're saying we're going to have to make a run for it, aren't you? Yes. Shiharu quivers against me, gasping in immediate panic. The people around us are rustled with whispers too. Everyone seems terrified. Nobody wants to move. And I can't blame them either. Emery is probably the only one capable of giving anyone protection at the moment. But she can't make the problem go away if people won't cooperate. What do we need to watch out for? Don't touch any of them. They can either sap out your energy or, worst case scenario, possess you. Fearful murmurs start up again. Way to go on the peep talk, Emery. Alright, keep your heads down, run straight for the entrance. Yes. Wouldn't the ghosts follow? They cannot pass the perimeter I've set up. Alright. Taking a deep breath, I look down at Shiharu. Immediately she starts shaking her head frantically, terrified. Shiharu, we gotta go. No, Flare, cannot I? We have to go. Come on, I'll be right by your side, okay? Shiharu stares at me with wide eyes, then glanced at Emery's back. Shiharu's name should not be up there on top of the text box. A shuddering breath escapes. Shihara tries to square out her shoulders as much as she can. She squeezes my hand, nodding shakingly. Alright. Okay, we're going, Emery. Everyone, follow Flare. Single line. Avoid the ghosts at all costs. I will cover your exit. A chorus of shaking agreements rises from the others. Gripping Chihara's hand tightly in my own, I took a deep breath and ignored her little whimpers. Alright, I'm ready. Go. Tugging Chihara behind me, I make a dash for the door. Heart thumping, I keep my eyes on the ghosts surrounding us. I don't know if it's fear that has made me emotional, but the longer I spend looking at the spirits, the less I feel threatened by them. They don't seem that dangerous. Maybe they are, but they are moving too slow to be a threat. Someone screams behind me, followed by Shihara's shriek as she attaches herself to me. Winded, I whip my hair around to see a faceless spirit going through a lower classman. She stumbles and collapses to the ground. Emery shouts something, but her words are lost as our formation breaks. Shihara and I shove to the ground, her on top of me, as people rush past us. Kya! Ah! I try to stand up, but Shihara clings so tightly to me, I can't move at all. And those few are here again. Oh my god, stop screaming and stand up! Suddenly Shihara's yanked off of me. Her desperate clawing surely has left marks. Gasping, I spring up, only to find Shizero holding a terrified Shihara by the arm. Emma looms behind them with a scowl, and Emery runs up, but charms in her hands have diminished in numbers, Idiots, just go! The five of us make a run for it. Shizero still dragging Chihara and Emery exercising whatever ghosts approach. When we finally make it off of school grounds, we skid to a stop. And hands clasped in front of her, Emery turns towards the gate. A golden bow materializes in her hand and an arrow as she pulls the string. With this arrow, I release and end the line. May there be peace for the cursed. Cut the ties that tethers to this earth. Repent! She releases. The arrow made a light tears through the air, disappearing in the shadows surrounding of our school. A chorus of unearthly wails echoes back, draining whatever colour I have left on my skin. Shizeo staggers where she is, pulling a crying Shiharu down with her. Ember grits her teeth so hard they could crack, but squares her stance and stands her ground. It's not over yet, though. Repent! 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 Arrow after arrow is let loose. The wails grow in both volume and intensity. This variation of Emery holding her bow has yet to be here. The few students around us who stay out of stubborn curiosity finally give up and flee. But us, we stay frozen in place. Because we are the main characters of this game. Are we not? You are all just NPCs. Whether you are discarded or kept alive is entirely up to the script. Eventually, but not soon enough, the dreadful cries subside. Emery's bow disappears, her shoulders shaking in exhaustion. Shizao's managed to stand up. Let's make a save point here. I wonder if there's a time mechanic throughout that section. If we try to go through it too fast, then we would have stumbled over and been devoured by a ghost, along with Shihara probably being devoured by a ghost too. Eventually, but not soon enough, the dreadful cries subside. Emery's bow disappears, her shoulders shaking in exhaustion. Oh, we've already read this. Oddly enough, she and Shihara are leaning onto each other for support, while Ember stands off to the side, her jaws clenched. I heave out a shuddering breath. Things are never going back to normal after this, are they? Not at all. As an aftermath of what happened, the school is closed down for investigations for an undisclosed period. Exams are to be taken online. Is this supposed to be resemblant to, I don't know, a real-life scenario where things are more or less online rather than face-to-face at school and stuff? Exams will be taken online, any assignment after will be sent via email. The official statement says that there has been an unidentified hazard that caused a mass hysteria at school. Despite a few students stepping up saying that they had seen the ghost, the teachers all went up with the script. Nobody in our club has said anything. I thought Ember would have been more angry, seeing that Emery's theory is proven right. But Ember has been radio silent. In fact, everyone has been. It has been a week since the incident, and I've heard nothing from any of the members. I don't feel the need to reach out either, and I'm still pretty shaken up about the whole thing. Not just the ghosts, but also about Emery, the argument between Shazeo and Ember, how the school and town handled the aftermath, how the ownership is stepping in. But I should probably check on Shiharu though. She seemed to have taken everything the hardest, having such a fragile heart. Neither of us asked to be involved in this, and even though Shiharu was one who initially wanted to join the club, I'm the one who is way more invested in all the mysteries, not to mention the incident she got caught up in prior to this. With a sigh, I pick up the phone and end up staring at it. What do we even say? Empty reassurance would just be that. Empty. I do feel bad for Shiharu, but I also feel like saying that isn't enough. Sitting there, I get lost in my thoughts, until an incoming call shakes me back to reality. Ironically enough, it's Shiharu. Hey. Hey, Flare. Just, how are you? The same. The same, I was just about to call you, you know. How have you been? Oh, yeah, I've been alright. Not going out much. That's understandable. We both sink into an uncomfortable silence, neither knowing how to proceed. I should ask her how she really is after the event, but I don't want her to start stammering in fear. It probably took a lot of effort already on her hand to make this call. So, about the vacation. Huh? I didn't expect this. Yeah? So, I just want to know if I should cancel the planning. So I called the others. Shazeo and Ember are still up for it. Of course they are. What about Emery? I don't know. Emery was present when I called Shazeo, and it sounded like they got into some sort of an argument. Of course they would. For some reason, Emery always keeps a watchful eye on Shazeo. Shazeo going to some distant island without supervision at a time like this would be the opposite of anything Emery would want at the moment. So Emery might not want to come, and if she doesn't go, then Shazeo might not either. I don't know. Maybe... I'm still down for the vacation. Might be weird with just us and Ember though. How so? Well, for starters, you and I have known each other since like forever, and Ember never seems to take it well when she's left out, so... Oh, yeah, I get what you mean, but I already called Ember, so... yes, it wouldn't be fair to tell her no now then. How about this? Tell her if Emery and Shazeo aren't going to come, then we can call off the whole thing as a club vacation. You and I can still go. Maybe somewhere else? There's a squeak on the other end. Really? But wouldn't that be, I don't know, ditching them? Well, not really. You kind of planned this as a club vacation, right? What's the point if half the club can't go? That's true. Shiharu sighs. I have a feeling Ember wouldn't have liked it if Emery is going anyway. Yeah, you got that right. I feel really bad though, really, for Shazeo. She didn't do anything wrong, and if Emery keeps her home, it'd be really unfair. That's food for thought of the day. Did Shazeo really do nothing wrong? Yeah, it's a shame. You were so excited about this. It's fine. I didn't really have high hopes for this anyway. And, yeah. I'm sorry. No, it's not your fault. Not anybody's, really. It just sucks how it turned out this way. Yeah. Another beat of silence. Then Shiharu sighs again. I'll get onto this. I'll see you later, yeah? Yeah. Have a good day, Joe. You too, Flare. We hang up. Though, admittedly, something else has come up to bother me from this conversation. Shazeo said something about Ember having powers. Powers to do what? They are both hiding something, and they obviously don't want Emery to find out. There are so many ways this can be perceived. Both can be innocent and Shazeo is just trying to protect Ember, or, well, they both have something to do with the spirits. Either way, it makes Ember's claims about the supernatural being non-existent make her a phony, and it somewhat explains Shazeo's hesitance between Ember and Emery. Which also makes Shazeo a liar considering she claims to not know Ember that well. Have the two of them been fooling all of us since the beginning? Does Emery even know? Just what exactly are Ember's powers, and why do both of them think the incident at school has something to do with it? It's almost as if we are getting to know their true nature well before than we should. A chill goes down my spine. Could either of them be responsible for what happened to Shiharu? But Ember is close with Shiharu. For what it's worth, Ember seems to generally care about Shiharu. Then again, everything goes, right? I've seen ghosts and a club member pulling a bow out of thin air with light energy arrows to exorcise those very ghosts. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Suddenly, I feel relieved that I suggested to Shiharu about cancelling the trip if Emery and Shazeo can't go. I'm pretty damn sure that with everything going on, Emery won't let Shazeo out of her sight. And if Emery comes, maybe she can pull off some kind of restraint on Ember if things go south. If neither of the twins can go then, oh well, I'd rather ditch Ember than having to be alone with her and Shiharu. Not knowing what the hell she can actually do, I'm not taking my chances. What you don't know at the moment is that Shazeo is the catalyst for Ember's bad deeds. Chapter 3, Wither. And we're here. Even the air here is awesome. Thanks for this, Shiharu. You are awesome. Blushing under Ember's arm thrown around her shoulders, Shiharu squeaks, though even her shyness can't hide her white smile. Well, we're not really there yet, but I'm glad you guys like it. Ah, we can't skip. This is uncharted territory after all. Like it? Heck, I love it! Yeah, thanks Shiharu, this is going to be the best vacation ever. Because the characters are positioned how they are, Emery is going to appear at some point, isn't she? Kadu, Jeremy, Akihara Games. What kind of advertisements are these? Taku, whatever that says. You're saying that, but isn't this your first vacation too? Potato, potato. You know it's gonna be good. As the three of them engage in excited chatter, I slowly follow with the luggage cart. The train ride has been relatively normal, aside from Ember and Shizeo's buzzing excitement. I never got the chance to speak to anyone after the whole incident. Part of me doesn't want to, ignorance would be bliss. But I don't think anyone could blame me for having nightmares about that day every now and again. And here is Emery. When does the boat leave? 3 hours from now. So we have some time to look around the city and get a bite to eat before heading out. Wearily, Emery eyes the bustling station around us. Her reaction seems to wilt Shiharu's excitement a little. Well, there's a local summer festival nearby. We can have a look around and get something to eat there if you want. If you guys. Summer festival? Yes! Count me in. Alright, let's wave a cab and head there, yeah? A cab for 5. On it! Ember and Shazeo race to the pavement. Emery trails behind them, scowling. Shiharu stays back, peering at my face. Why is she off-center like that, though? Is everything okay, Flare? Oh, I'm fine. It's been great so far. Thanks for arranging this trip, Shiharu. Okay, it's just you seem a bit out of it on a way, so I thought... She stops, chewing her lower lip. Again? How many times do you chew your lower lip? Of course Shiharu would notice. She cares too much about everyone. Suddenly feeling guilty, I smile. More genuine this time. Don't worry about it. Honestly, it's just the stress from... you know. Yeah, I mean, I can relate, but... We both deflate a little, feeling guilty that I brought it up, especially when Chiharu has specifically told me that she wants to forget about all of that. I force a smile. It's okay, Chiharu. I mean, there's nothing sunshine and the beach can't fix though, right? Yeah, I hope so too. I didn't really get to catch up with everyone much, but I really hope this trip helps. That's the spirit. Now, let's catch up to the others, okay? Remember when I said that Chiharu's route is the anomaly? We now know why. It is also the route to the secret route. Okay. I hold on to my smile until Chiharu turns away, and bite back a sigh. Honestly, I crave for answers. The school is still closed since the incident, and no one is willing to give out any real statement about what happened that day. Both Shizeo and Emery, especially the latter, could not be contacted, and Ember's answers to my calls were clipped. I suppose it at least makes sense in Ember's case, with how stubborn and prideful she can be. Ember is probably peeved that all her theories and cases were debunked just like that. Yeah, just because of the ominous clouds coming in and the paranormal scene coming in and all that. It really does take a turn for the worse for Emery's case about all of the prior instances being local gang related. It's definitely supernatural. Then again, I still don't understand what really went down between Shizeo and Ember that day. The way they yelled at each other, it was as if they both blamed each other for what happened at school, which is outrageous. There is another level to that. What could they possibly know that they never told us? My eyes fall to where the others are. Shizeo is standing in the middle, enthusiastically hailing a cab, and Emery is looking as sullen as ever. No, that's just her default mood. It feels like those three are acting like nothing has ever happened in the last couple of weeks. They are pulling a facade. Or maybe they're trying hard to forget it, just like Chiharu. I think that's a better way of looking at it. I'm just glad everyone's here. I really hope everyone will enjoy the holiday. I'm sure they will, Chiharu. You tried really hard for this. I hope you'll enjoy this too. Thank you, Flare. What are you two doing over there? Cab's here! Shizeo's shout seems to snap back whatever Chiharu was about to say to me. Almost immediately, Chiharu's face turns a bright red. Stuttering, she hides her embarrassment by grabbing some of the luggage and walking briskly towards the taxi. Impeccable timing as ever, Shizeo. And we are here at the wonderful summer festival. I wonder if anything's going to change here, now that we are on a different route. But the same events transpiring aside of the case back at school. Here we are. Of course, Chiharu being Chiharu, she always knows where the best food is. The five of us wiggle into the booth. Ember cranes her neck, reading the menu aloud. I'll have those with a portion of takoyaki. Those two for Chiharu. For me, please. That for Shizeo. Egg yakisoba for Emery. I can say that one. I'll have a seafood yakisoba, please. The smell and sizzling noise alone can wake a dead man. Even my uncertain mood is lifted in all the hassles and bustles around us. The festivity here is amazing. Is this the place you told me about, Chiharu? I always have to get a bite from here whenever I visit my family. Their takoyaki really is divine. Takoyaki. I can't wait now. I've always heard festival food is the best. They actually bring up something at the back of my mind for a while now. How come we don't have any festivals in town anymore? I remember going every year with my grandpa and Chiharu way back then, but it seems like it stopped, right? As if I have picked up a bucket of ice water and doused it all over them, the girls go quiet. Chiharu immediately picks up on the mood, looking around wearily. Well, we did. Until Mother died, that is. So, in that case, Shizeo's mother was one who organized the events. The summer events. Shizeo. There is a sneer on Shizao's lips now. What, I'm not allowed to talk now? See? Our summer festival was supposed to be held by the Onishi. After Mother died, Emery here thought it was redundant and stopped the tradition altogether. It wasn't redundant. The festival is meant to honour the Onishi who failed to defend our town in the past. I believe nowadays it is more of a personal affair. Because of their mother's hard work to seal the curse. So therefore, the tradition died down because the sole purpose of it has died down because it succeeded. The prophecy was succeeded. Shizao's face hardens, the grip she has around her bag tightens. Sure, and take away the only bit of festivity we have here. You are overreacting. Really? Because that's what you've been telling me the last how many years whenever I brought something of concern up. Be reasonable, this is hardly the time or the place. Play your own game, Emery. I'm tired of it. Ember and Shiharu eye each other. With Ember shaking her head when Shiharu opens her mouth to say something. I can even hear the audible click when Shiharu snaps her teeth closed. We sink into an uncomfortable silence. When the food comes out, Shizao snatches her portion and stands up. I'm gonna wander around. Text me when it's time to get on the boat. And leaves. Shiharu's lips stretch into a thin line. Ember gives me a solemn look. Shrugging, Emery is statically quiet. Awkwardly, we dig in. The food is delicious, but the sister's argument leaves us all with a stale aftertaste. Internally, I berate myself. I shouldn't have said anything. Then again, I didn't even know it was a problem. Another sign that Shiharu and I know way too little about everything. And we definitely split off from this situation. After lunch, Emery splits up from us as well. Collectively, Ember and I let out a relieved breath. Wait, why is Shiharu's legs cut? We trail after Shiharu, exploring the city for the remaining hour. It is unspoken, but I don't think any of us want to bump into either Onishi on the festival ground. Though it doesn't take long for Ember to express her annoyance. Really? That was just uncalled for. You think they'd be alright? That's the first time I've seen Shizao acting out against Emery like that. Yeah, I know they kinda had a rocky relationship, but Shizao never yells at Emery like that. Maybe it's because we are away from home and Shizao doesn't feel as frustrated as before. Oh, well, whatever it is, I don't want their drama to ruin this trip. That's a bit harsh. It's the truth. They should have dealt with it at home instead of shouting in front of us. We have nothing to do with that. But Ember is right. Emery wasn't even trying to look for a fight. Shizao instigated it and made it worse. None of us could really step in between them like that. I suspect that Shizao actually has problems with how Emery handled things. But I don't know if I could fully trust Shizao to not have anything to do with the mess. And on that note, nor can I trust Ember. Swallowing yet another sigh, I just hope that whatever problem that they have further on would be somewhat contained. I don't think I or Shiharu at that matter could deal with any more shock right now. At least a boat ride to the island isn't all that eventful. I half expected Shizao or Emery to have another showdown. However, Shizao seems adamant to ignore her sister and acts extra cheerful with everyone else. This development certainly makes Emery even more closed off. She turns away from the group the whole ride, eyes pinned at the golden sunset. On the bright side, at least they aren't fighting. I can hear Shiharu's relieved breath when Shizao facades falters and true excitement takes over her as we arrive at our destination. Oh my word! This is marvellous! Her first order of business kicking off her fashionable heels and digging her toes into the warm sand. Ember and I are quick to hop off too. I can't quite keep the grin off of my face as Ember does a cartwheel. Shiharu jogs over to catch up. Emery not far behind, the sunset burns their silhouettes into the back of my mind. Dark under crimson light. What was that? No, not skip. We can't even skip it. We can't even skip anyways. What was the last bit of that text? Wavering by the lapsing sea. You guys have probably read it, but I didn't. My eyes can only focus on one thing at a time. I'm so glad. Do you guys want to check out the villa? Oh, we're still on skip, sorry. That'd be great. Thanks, Shiharu. But it's already evening. When we arrived here initially, it was daytime. Something ominous is rising up. That'd be great. Thanks, Shiharu. She beams at me. Pink around the edges, we give Shizeo and Ember another moment to roll around in the sand before hiking towards the villa. Admittedly, it's a bit more modest than I thought it would be. Living room, kitchen and 3 bedrooms with adjacent bathrooms. Sparsely but tastefully decorated. No swimming pool. I suppose it would be too expensive to maintain one when no one would be on the island. But there is a mini onsen by the villa, facing the ocean. To my disappointment, however, Shiharu says the pipes have been faulty for a while. If you really want to, I can ask the island caretaker to fix it. That's fine. I don't want to be of any trouble. But you're never any trouble. Don't worry. Besides, we still have the whole island to ourselves. Can't complain there. Exactly. Nodding with a smile, Shiharu goes to the fridge and freezer next, checking inventory. Alrighty, we should have enough supplies for 5 to 7 days. The island's caretaker will come to check on us on the 4th day and take notes if we need anything else. Is there any way off the island in case of emergency? Oh, yeah, yes. Did you see the small boat near a small boathouse near the dock? There is an emergency motorboat over there. The signal is really weak here sometimes, but all the phones in the house have an emergency hotline too. Just press 1. The island caretaker is on number 2, and enough of a boring... Look, Shizeo, we need to know this kind of stuff in case an emergency arises, and knowing this game, there will definitely be a catastrophic emergency that we must arise to. I have a feeling the secret route they're all gonna go yandere in some way. Enough of the boring stuff. Shiharu, where's all the fun stuff at? But well, we also have jet skis in the boathouse. Hold up, you've got jet skis? Mm-hmm. Then what are we waiting for? Let's take them for a spin. Yes. Wait a minute, shouldn't we figure out our sleeping situation first? I felt like my unspoken role is to douse cold water over excitement. Perhaps Emery wouldn't be as much of a killjoy as I am right now. Oh yes, we have 2 big bedrooms, one here and 1 small. I guess it goes without saying that I will be having the small one. Dips on sharing the room with Shiharu. Shizeo blinks, apparently surprised with this choice. She stares at Ember for a moment, who has already shuffled on with her bag and Shiharu's to one of the doors. Shizeo then turns to Emery. Oh, for goodness sakes, but names are so similar! Who avoids her eyes. I feel a squirm of discomfort slither down my stomach when Shizeo's gaze ultimately falls on me. Flare, would you mind sharing a room with me? Jaws dropped worldwide. Wait, what? Ember drops a duffel bag. Mouth ajar. Wait a minute. Yeah. And Emery? Shouldn't you be sharing a room with your sister? Shizeo doesn't answer. Instead, she glances at Emery's back and gives me a pleading look, whispering under her breath. I know it's inconvenient, but, I mean, it's an uncomfortable situation for me right now, and well, I'm not sure how to answer this. On one hand, does she really think the 2 of us sharing a room would be less uncomfortable? What the hell is Shizeo trying to play at? Is she trying to catch me off guard so she can make an offhanded statement at Emery to escalate the situation? Shizeo, stop being so shameless. It's none of your problem. It is when you are embarrassing yourself. Oh, since when do you care? You are making a scene out of nothing. I know you can be childish, but this is over the top. What, because I want a room with a guy? Please, your ideals are like so last century. And this is where events have started to change. Perhaps, but you are not making it easier for everyone else. Yeah, because normally Emery would just storm off and go make herself comfortable in the small bedroom. But now it's like Emery thinks as well that this is a stupid situation Shazeo has put herself in. Shazeo gives us all a one-over. Please, since when do you care about other people? When I and you are staying under someone else's roof who has gracefully invited us for this trip and will host us for a whole week. Yeah, use that excuse. You're only butting in because... it's okay, Shihara comes to pause, swallowing dryly when she realizes that everyone is now staring at her. Okay, I can share a room with Shazeo. That still doesn't eradicate the problem, though. That still doesn't eradicate the problem about, you know, intermixing. I can share a room with Shazeo's. Don't worry about it. Chai, are you sure? Yeah, I don't mind. Ember turns to Shazeo, her eyes narrowing. Well... Aw, thanks, Shihara. I really appreciate that. It's nothing. I don't like this scenario. Without another word, Emily picks up her bags and retreats to the single room. Shizeo stares after her sister until the door is slammed closed. So she still goes to the single room, which means that in this timeline, we have a room with Ember. You know what, in this scenario, I would prefer if Shazeo was with us. Without another word, Emily picks up her bags and retreats to the single room. Shazeo stares after her sister until the door is slammed closed. She lets out a breath before gathering up her luggage. Smiling at us apologetically, Shazeo scurries into the room opposite of where Ember is glaring at her from. Shihara heaves out a breath she's been holding, then goes to gather her belongings before she could follow Shazeo. I catch her by the elbow. Shiharu, you sure about this? Shizao's been acting pretty agitated today. I'll be fine, Flare. Really? I just don't want them to fight anymore. I mean, really, if we could, split Shazeo and Emery up, maybe they'll calm down tomorrow, hopefully. It would be better if Shazeo and Emery were in the same room. They are both polar opposites, but they are both just as powerful as one another. And Shiharu is completely powerless against Shazeo. Alright, if you're sure. I'll be okay. Thanks, Bo. With that, Shiharu runs in after Shazeo. Turning around, I try to salvage whatever this awkwardness has left us with Ember, but see that she has already gone inside. Left alone in this spacious living room, I rub my forehead in exasperation. This already has dangerously crossed what I call out of hand. For the most part, I'm glad nothing happened last night. Ember more or less crashed the moment her back hit the bed. I was a bit restless, however, but didn't dare to toss and turn. It doesn't help that Ember's snoring could wake a dead man. At least the little rooming hiccup didn't deter anyone's enthusiasm at the beach. Shizeo, Ember and Shiharu are quick to jump into the waves, screaming with giggles as they splash at each other. Shiharu, ever a hospitable host, got us a cooler filled with drinks and a basket of snacks, while I set up the umbrellas and lounge chairs. Once happy with my work, I kick off my flip-flops and am about to run towards the sea when I spot Emery. Unlike the others, Emery hasn't changed into swimming wear. at all. In fact, she is wearing her kimono, standing with her arms folded under the umbrella and scowling at where the girls are. I do feel bad for Emery. She certainly doesn't ask for Shazeo to act out, and she is the only one who isn't close to anybody here, aside from her sister of course, but we already saw how well that turned out to be. With a long sigh, I approach Emery, trying to come up with a conversation opener. You didn't change for the beach? You can be terribly vulgar. Sorry, that's not what I meant. Emery's unrelenting glare withers me at the spot. Awkwardly I shuffle my feet, with a thought to come up with a terrible excuse to flee, but then she lets out a long sigh. Apologies. I do not mean to take my frustrations out on you. It's okay. You are being polite. I have never been to this kind of setting before. Emery definitely is more open with us than in the original timeline. She was so closed off from the protagonist, but here it's almost as if she has encountered stuff with the protagonist before. Almost as if the 4 good endings timelines have converged into this one timeline, but a different Shiharo good end route timeline, or bad end. But this is definitely what we would call a secret route. I've never been to this kind of setting before, and I did not have the time to research about proper Atir. Oh? It's difficult to tell, but Emery is clearly embarrassed to think about it. We have never been close. Club meetings would be the only time we would actually spend together, and even then we would never really converse much. However, in the back of my head, I tried to defuse the situation. Must have been pretty busy, huh? With the whole thing with the school and all. You were curious about it. Under her heavy stare, I finally give in. Yes. Yes, I am. Honestly, aren't you? Honest, aren't you? What do you want to know? So, I can ask anything and you'd answer? Depends on the question. I thought as much. Why the secrecy? Why did people give fake statements? Because it's easier to absorb the fact that there was some sort of mass hysteria than there being like another world has opened into our world by using any sort of dimensional gate or something like that to gain access to this realm. Because then people wouldn't wrap their heads around and they would be scared, so they list it off as something that they already know and can understand. Yeah. Can you imagine the ruckus it would cause over reports of ghost sightings? People from out of town would pour in. There would be investigations, not from actual professionals, but so-called ghost hunters. There would be news about a whole town going insane. The school would be questioned. People who were not involved would be questioned. And the town itself would gain an entirely new reputation. So you keep quiet because you're afraid of some inconveniences. Inconveniences would be putting it lightly. Lives would be disrupted. The town itself would be under scrutiny from the entire nation. Without speaking the truth, there were already enough inconveniences. You cannot see the full scale of what this could possibly become. The more she talked, the more I became applied. So you just lie to cover up everything. Isn't that the same with all the disappearances? Are you accusing me of covering up those cases? I'm not. But what you are doing is just as shady. It is a necessity. I will not waste my time explaining myself to you. So that's how it is then. My hands ball up to fist by my side, but angry, but also scared of what Emery would do to me if I lash out. I've seen those arrows. I've seen her powers. I don't know if they could harm a living person. They can. But I am not about to test it. She might hold back on Shazeo, but nothing stops her from hurting me. Swallowing my anger, I carry on with the questions. Do you think that incident back at school is related to the cases? Likely. There has not been any solid link, however. assuming that there is anything solid about this whole thing to begin with. You are treading dangerous water, Flare. Because we're near a beach and you can just use the word water because you can see water. And it's seawater as well. The beating sun suddenly turns cold on my skin. That is something that we should mention. A new set of events are about to be set in motion. Tell Emery about Ember and Shazeo. If Shazeo and Ember are truly up to something, Emery would be my best ally, wouldn't she? Or would she cover it all up, just as what she has been doing all along? There is only one way to find out. There is something. I stumbled upon something on that day. There seems to have grabbed her attention, as Emery turns to face me fully, but she says nothing under the weight of her stare. I suddenly become flustered, but refuse to lower my gaze. I was trying to find Shiharu. I ran back upstairs near the usual club room. I heard Ember and Shizeo talking. They were having an argument. It sounded like they were blaming each other, and then you for the incident. Were there any specific details? Shizeo was blaming Ember because apparently Ember has powers. Why have you not told me this sooner? Didn't know if I could trust you. Fair enough. Folding her arms, Emery casts her eyes out again, towards where the girls are. Her silence quickly drives my anxiety level up. I know you don't condone most of Shizeo's behaviours, and I know you never agree with Ember. Would you help me figure out what they are truly up to? Don't try to act smarter than you really are. Excuse me? She looks away again, with the slightest of narrows to her eyes. Choose your battles wisely. You are already terribly outmatched. Inclining her head, Emery studies me a moment longer. Perhaps it is a difficult concept for you to understand, but some things are better left buried. Yeah, buried as in the experiments chamber that you failed to deal with, Emery. Flare, what are you doing up there? Startled by her sudden appearance, I take a step away from Emery. Shazeo and Chiharu have emerged from the water. The latter of the two is now looking between me and Emery quizzically. Sorry, did we interrupt something? Huh? Oh no, not at all. Flare, you dog. Who would have... Why'd you use that word? Who would have thought you would be more interested in modest stuff instead of girls in swimsuits? Maybe because, Shazeo, I have taste. Wait, what? Shazeo? That's not what it is. Sure, whatever you say. Emery, are you going to, No, I have no interest in swimming. Oh, it's okay. You, just, enjoy yourselves, I guess. Stammering, Shiharu turns tail and runs back to the sea. With a hand on her hip, Shazeo watches after Shiharu before turning to Emery. You should probably change out of that here. It's hot here. Don't get a heat stroke or something. Rolling her eyes, Shazeo follows Shiharu, leaving me alone with Emery again. That was unexpected. Is Shazeo trying to mend defences with Emery? To be fair, it wouldn't be surprising, considering Emery is rather detached when it comes to emotional issues. She's either oblivious to emotions, or she is extremely good at detaching herself from emotions. A glance at Emery's stoic features tells me that I wouldn't get any more conversation out of her. She has gone back to glaring at the water, and I don't want to provoke her into getting cross with me, if I haven't already had, that is. I'm going to join them. Yeah, definitely not interested in talking anymore. Quietly I make my way to the water. Of course, Ember has to open her big mouth. What's with her? Wait, is Ember in a different swimsuit? I swear there was more to the lower quarters. Honestly, I can't tell. Probably thinking we're all so inappropriate by doing this. Right, Flare. Well, I was asking her if she wanted to join us. Doesn't seem too keen on it. Not the entire truth, but it's not a lie either. The Leo Shazeo sense me makes me squirm a little. Still, I wonder if she's alright. Don't know if you noticed, but Emmy tends to be a bit of a drama queen when she is thrown into an environment she's not used to. Don't sweat it. Uh-huh. Says the person that fussed up a storm. What was that? Anyhow, oh, even Ember and Shazeo were arguing. I guess we just have to, give Emery some space. For once, Ember is siding with Emery, which is odd. I bite back a sigh of relief at Shahara's interference. The last thing we need right now is more Discord. You should definitely check out Discord. Yeah, but there's no forcing her into doing what she doesn't like. Listen to Flare, he's sensitive with occult emotions like that. You're not helping, Shazeo. Shazeo? We spend the rest of the morning splashing each other and shrieking with joy. Though I'm happy that at least one part of Shahara's plans works. My conversation with Emery keeps nagging at the back of my mind. And what's with Ember acting so disgruntled around Shazeo? It must have been also because of the events that happened at the school. At the end of the day, Emery kept to herself the entire time. We set up a volleyball game and tried to get her to join us, but she doesn't even want to help keep score. This also started another fight between her and Shazeo, but thank goodness Shaharu managed to interfere again. Oddly enough, Ember watched all this happen quietly with a critical eye. I thought her bond with Shaharu or her disagreements with Emery would get her to say something snarky at least, but it wasn't the case. However, I still feel thankful that nothing bad happened, and despite a somewhat strained mood, everyone agreed to have a porch party for dinner time. Shahara was only too happy to have an excuse for slipping into the kitchen and avoiding any further drama. Ember didn't want an invitation and followed Shaharu, which unfortunately left me with Shazeo and Emery. Oh gosh. They haven't started anything yet. Fortunately, Emery is setting up the chairs and table while ignoring me and Shazeo. Meanwhile, Shazeo is mixing up a bunch of drinks and also ignoring Emery by roping me into conversations. I never really liked cherry flavours, which is super odd because I like cherries, not just cherry flavours. Maybe because the flavour itself can be pretty artificial. Oh, you might be onto something here. I also don't like almond stuff. How come? Don't know. Maybe because it could conceal cyanide. What? I spat out a sip of water I just took. Shazeo crackles. Ah, Shazeo! Sorry. You should have seen the look on your face, though. Shut up. Not funny. Shazeo dodges the ice cube will throw at her. Still giggling like mad, she tosses back a slice of lemon, which I retaliate with a handful of mint. This quickly evolves into us chasing each other around the mixing table, screaming and throwing fruits at each other. Whoa, what's going on here? She started it. Shazeo dodges a flying piece of watermelon, sticking out her tongue at me before scooping up a handful of crushed ice. Nah, I'm sorry, Shazeo, you threw the ice cube at me. You threw it first, me. What's going on? Shaharu. The ice, which was intended for me, chatters wetedly against Shaharu when I jump out of the way. Surprised, Shaharu shrieks and jumps back, but loses her balance and falls onto her bottom instead. Ow. Shiharu, you okay? Sorry, Shiharu. It's okay. You guys were having fun. So sorry. I'm just gonna... Yeah. Blushing crimson, Shiharu briskly stands up and scurries back into the kitchen. Shiharu, wait up! Awkward silence follows their departure, along with guilt welling up in my stomach. I hope she's alright. Yeah, let's just clean up. Shizeo mutters an agreement and hands me a bag. Quietly I pick up the scattered pieces of food, keenly aware of Emery staring at the back of my neck. Oh dearie me, why is she staring? And it goes to night time. Thankfully, whatever embarrassment Shiharu might have felt didn't affect her cooking at all. She serves us a beautiful arrangement of food. That's all I'm going to say, it's food. It's a bit simple, but are you kidding? This is awesome. It's all really light and fresh, perfect after a long day. Yes, delicious. Very traditional. I do enjoy it. See? You even got Emery's stamp of approval. I have no stamp. Oh, goodness sakes, Emery, are you dense? It's just an expression. You and Emery really do get close, huh, Flare? What are you saying? I elbow her, grunting as Shizeo giggles teasingly. Shush! Hey, how did you prepare them? I usually hate tofu, you know, but this stuff is actually pretty good. Oh, well, while simple, that can be tasteless if you don't prepare it correctly. The trick is the quality of the tofu itself. I picked the sleekest type, and the toppings vary too, so we have a nice selection. Whoa, so much attention to them, huh? I've never had tofu this good before. Never really give it a try, to be honest. Yeah, Shiharu is the best cook. So stop saying embarrassing things, Flare. Just saying the truth. The hard, factual truth. What did I tell you? Flare is smooth. Hey, one saying embarrassing things as you, Shizeo. Ha! Can't blame this one on me. Impulsively, I snatch away the piece of sashimi on Shizeo's plate, making a fume. I make a show of dropping it into my mouth, flickering my chin out challengingly. Hey, I was eating that. Oh well, should be paying attention to your meal then. There is nothing more pleasurable than teasing her. No fair. You two are too loud. I'm just trying to have a little fun. Sheesh, sorry if that bothers you. The mood completely falls through at that point. Despite Ember's few attempts to pick up the conversation, everyone answers half-heartedly and focuses on cleaning up our place. Even Shiharu keeps her eyes downcast, her lips a thin line. Again, guilt churns at the bottom of my stomach. I didn't mean to annoy Emery. I just thought that if I acted a bit more natural, trying to have a little fun, at least on the outside, everything would be fine. That clearly didn't get me far. I suppose I should have known better after that conversation I had with Emery. But at the same time, I don't want to worry Shiharu either, acting all gloomy and suspicious. My eyes follow Shiharu's retreating back as she gathers up the dishes and heads inside with Ember on her heel. I'm going to get some fresh... I thought this was fresh air. We're outside. As Shizeo stalks off towards the beach, Emery watches after her assistant for a moment before silently getting up. I'm not too surprised that Emery is following Shizeo, probably to talk things out. Even if that isn't the elder Oshuni's forte, they are sisters after all, and although Emery might be too invested in terms of emotions, I wince at the thought. She could be concerned about how Shazeo is acting and how that would reflect their family as a whole. Or maybe there's something else they need to discuss. Regardless of the matter, I feel like it's not my place to interfere. With a sigh, I head inside. Hushed conversation can be heard from the kitchen. Neither Ember nor Shihara seem to have noticed that I've gone inside. I don't want to talk about it. Shiharu? Seriously, I don't feel comfortable. We can swap rooms. I don't mind, you know. It's okay. Shizeo, she's no trouble, really. You can say that again. Does she say anything weird to you? No. Should she? I really don't want her and Emery to fight all the time. I hope they can resolve whatever it is. That's hard to say. It's hard to tell with both of them, you know. Don't you? Haven't you known Shizeo for a long time? I guess. Shizeo knows everyone, you know. I guess we do hang out from time to time, but I don't think she considers me a friend. Not like you and me. Sometimes I do favors for her, but she doesn't ever want to hang out just for the sake of hanging out. Really? Yeah. Like I said, it's hard to tell with Shizeo. She wouldn't want to be your friend unless it benefits her. All I'm saying is, if she makes you feel uncomfortable, let me know, okay? Like, I have no issues swapping rooms at all. Okay. Thanks, Ember. Of course. What are friends for, right? So where do these go? Feeling like I'm intruding, I quietly withdraw back outside. So that is how Ember really thinks of Shizeo, huh? And we learned something about their past. Surprising, considering how they seem to have their own secrets going. For some reason though, I feel like Ember wouldn't be lying to Shihara about that. She has been acting quite protective over Shihara, and I don't think Ember would mean her any harm. That makes Shizeo's case even more suspicious. My eyes automatically look to where the sisters went off. I can't see anyone from here, nor can I hear anything. Anxiety nags at the back of my mind. What are Shizeo's motives? What has she done back at the school? Why does she think it was Ember who triggered it? Why did she want to hide everything from Emery? What is Shizeo not telling us? Before I could stop myself, I start heading towards Emery and Shizeo's direction. Sure enough, there is shouting, Shizeo's voice. I pick up my pace. Soon I can see two dark silhouettes against the night sky, standing over a rock that reaches precariously over the waters. You accuse me of that? You are the one who goes off doing whatever you want to, and do I get to question you? No. You are being a child again. Typical Emery. Even when facing angry Shizeo, her voice still betrays not an expression. I am not a child. Stop saying that. Just because you were born 4 minutes before me doesn't mean you get to treat me like a kid. I will stop treating you like one if you stop acting like one. You're impossible. You are acting out just for attention. You instigated a scene to unease the others. You poked fun at me to make yourself look better. You wanted Flare to pay attention to you to fluster Chiharu. What are you trying to play at isn't working. You are simply going to make yourself look bad in front of your friends. Why do you always have to humiliate me? Gosh. I couldn't have seen that shove coming. Judging by the surprise reflected in Emery's eyes, she couldn't either. With a startled scream, Emery falls backwards and is swallowed by the waves with a loud splash. Emery! Oh gosh. Oh god. What have I done? She can't swim! Without stopping to think, I dive in after Emery. The cold water is a shock to my sister and, for a heart-stopping moment, my muscles seize up. In the shoving waves, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where Emery is, and I have to struggle to surface just enough to see her frantic frailing. The haki armor she wears is dragging Emery down. I have to act fast. Taking a huge gulp of air, I go underwater. Blindly, I manage to grab onto Emery's thrashing legs. Kicking up, I propel myself forward, trying to grab her by the waist. Unfortunately, my nose meets her knee. Pain-fueled surprise makes me recoil, and I pop back to the surface. Emery, calm down! But as the water clears from my eyes, I can't seem to spot her anymore. Oh, for crying out loud! I take another gulp of breath and dive once more. I descend after Emery, and luckily manage to grab her before breaking the water's surface. Gah! It is hard work keeping her head above water. I bob helplessly against the waves, struggling to drag us both back to shore. Oh my god! What's going on? Apparently the commotion has attracted the two others' attention. Ember is quick to run into the water and give me a hand. Together we haul Ember's unmoving body onto the beach. She isn't breathing. Holy hell! Alright. I scrounge up what little I remember from basic CPR training, hoping that it'll be enough. Hands over her chest, I press hard and fast. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Emery. I count to 30 then stop, tilting up Emery's head. I pry open her mouth. 2 breaths. Pinching her nose, I slot our mouths together, giving her 2 long breaths. Breaking her eye, I repeat the compression. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Emery. Another 2 breaths. 4 more compressions. A gurgling thick sound starts from her chest. I rock back on my heels, quickly flipping Emery over to the side so she can regurgitate. Coughing violently, Emery twitches, cuddling into herself as she forces out the water. Oh my god! Emery! Ember is already there, draping a dry towel over Emery as I sit on my haunches. A bit dazed now that it's over. Emery is in the most piteous shape she probably has ever been since birth, looking around slowly with teary eyes. What happened? You almost drowned. What the hell? What are you idiots doing out there in the dark? I wasn't planning swimming. A long, frustrated sigh escapes Ember. Shahara still looks frazzled, almost as bad as Emery does. You're lucky Flare knows CPR. That bit of information seems to bring a bit of colours back to Emery's skin. Thank you. Adrenaline gone, I can only respond with an exhausted flick of my hand. We really should call an ambulance or something. Is there even an ambulance to the island? What about that boat? I'm fine. She raises an arm towards me. Wordlessly, I help her up. Even when she is looking like a drowned rat, Emery still manages to look dignified. There is nothing a little rest can't... And just like that, Emery faints in my arms, bowling me over right into the sand. As I lie there, with a pile of unconscious Maiko on top of me, I can't help but think there are worse ways to go. After helping Ember bring Emery back to the villa, I run off for a much needed hot shower and leave the girls to change Emery into something that's not soaked in freezing seawater. When I get out, it seems like everyone has retired. With a sigh, I enter my shared room with Ember, hoping that nothing else would happen tonight. Ember looks restless, pacing back and forth on her side of the room. Oh, Flare, you okay? Yeah, I guess. Quite a day, huh? You could say that again. We fall into silence. Despite Ember's rapid friendship with Shiharu, we're not particularly close. Sure, we used to have these gaming sessions, but those slowed down after Jasmine's death. There wasn't any explanation. Eventually, we all just stopped showing up. Biting her lip, Ember stares at me for a long moment, as if debating what to say. It's both strange and unnerving. Ember is never known as one to hold her tongue, but I can guess what she's about to ask me. So, what happened out there? Well, I heard yelling, so I decided to investigate, mostly Shizao's. They were having an argument about her behaviour since the beginning of the trip. Shizao got angry and shoved Emery into the water. She did that, huh? What do I even say to her? I don't know if I could fully trust her, sorry, not with what I heard on that day. Ember is oblivious to my internal turmoil, however, and resolves back to pacing. Feeling brave, I decide to ask, "What got you so worked up?" "Honestly, dunno." Letting out a frustrated sigh, Ember drops herself onto my bed, curling her knees under her chin with a grunt. Shizao's been acting weird, well, weirder than usual, and Shihara is getting stressed out over it. "You care a lot about Shihara, huh?" "Of course, she's my best friend." I blink at her sudden explanation with the way Ember is gawking me back at me. It seems she is equally surprised too. "I mean, not that it has anything to do with anything." "It kinda is everything." "What?" "No, for real, it's refreshing." "How?" "I mean, it's your honest feeling, right? You care about Shihara a whole lot, right?" "Well, I guess, yeah." "That's good." Under her intense stare, I become a bit flustered. Since we were kids, Shihara has always been a bit shy. Well, she knows people, but she's too shy to become close friends with them. I know the move has been hard on her, despite all her smiling, so the fact that you and her become so close is relieving, especially after that whole mess at school. "Wow, you really are a good guy." Sheepishly, I rub the back of my head. "Just trying to look out for a friend." "Shihara's lucky to have you as a friend." "She's lucky to have you too." Gosh, Shihara's right. You always say embarrassing stuff. "Oh, why'd you punch me for?" That got me another slap to the arm. "Hey, stop that." "You shush your face." In our squabbles, won't even realise the door being opened. "Hey, I'm making some tea for Emery and I..." Startled, I turn around to see Shihara at the door, eyes wide with surprise and her face quickly morph into one of panic, and she snaps around to run. Ember is quicker, however. "Wait!" Ember would be the fastest. Before Shihara can disappear, Ember has somehow managed a grasp on her arm. "It's not what it looks like, Shai." "Yeah, we were just disagreeing about something." "Seriously, Shihara. Actually, come inside. I kind of want to talk to you as well." Aww. Ember might have a point, actually. Shihara is staying in the same room as Shizeo. She needs to be warned. "Yeah, Shai. I was going to come find you anyway." Okay. Okay. You said something about tea. Yeah. Alright. Let's go grab some snack stuff and sit down, yeah? That sounds like a good idea. So we've got two different soundtracks playing at the same time, by the way. So Shizeo pushed Emery off the cliff. Yeah, that's what I saw. Shihara bites down on her lower lip, fiddling with the cup in her hands. I just finished recapping everything that happened tonight, conveniently leaving out the part where I overheard Shihara and Ember's conversation. We have taken to huddle on the sofa, shoulders drawn together and eyes watching the hallway. Well, me and Ember at least. Shihara just looks disturbed right now, and I can't blame her. Were they fighting? Yeah. Rubbing my face, I let out another sigh. To be honest, what Emery said to Shizeo was pretty hurtful, but that doesn't excuse her from doing what she did. Emery could have died. It's no excuse at all. She knew Emery doesn't know how to swim. I get that she's upset, but you don't treat family like that, you know. You don't treat any person like that, you know. You don't just push them into the water, even more worse knowing that they can't swim. To be honest with you, I don't think they act like family at all. The three of us exchange a weary look. Shihara sighs and puts down her cup. I don't know if we can entirely blame Shizeo. You kidding me? She straight up pushed Emery into dark water. Yeah, but it's not like Shizeo dragged Emery up there on purpose, right? Flare said Emery followed Shazeo out there. For all we know, Emery could have chased after Shazeo when Shazeo just wants to be alone. You don't buy that, do you, Flare? Yeah, we're just going off a factual, logical basis that Shazeo should not have pushed Emery into the water. Ember, why do you want to blame Shazeo about this? That's an interesting question. Why has Ember been so angry over this incident? Does she have her own issues and secrets with Shazeo? Does Ember want to shift our view on Shazeo for some inexplicable reason? Why are you acting like Shazeo is innocent? Ember, we don't know what really happened, and it must be a spur of the moment thing. It could have happened on the beach. I can't believe you right now. Why? Why are you acting like this? Seeing Chihara is on the verge of tears, I immediately interfere, rubbing small reassuring circles onto Chihara's arm. I try to calm her before she gets more upset. Hey now. It's okay, Chihara. I think Ember is just worried about you. About what? That Shazeo would somehow hurt me in my sleep? Ember, she acted out of distress. You can't say she really wanted to harm Emery. But you lashed out all the time. You should know better. You can't just accuse your friend of trying to kill her own sister. That's horrible. You know what? I'm done. Angrily, Ember stands up with a swoop and stomps off to her room, slamming the door closed, left sitting there with a quietly sobbing Chihara. I don't know what else to do beside lending her my shoulder and gently patting her back. Ah, here. Thank you. Chihara takes my offered tissue and blows out her nose. Sniffing, adrenaline visibly drains out of her. Chihara pitches forward and buries her face into her hands. Cautiously I watch on as Chihara lays out a shaky breath. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so... It's okay. I know you've been stressed out. Chihara lets out a choked sob. Emery is sick and I shouldn't have behaved like that. It's just, I don't know. Ember just started accusing Shazeo and I should have kind of snapped. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I think she was just high-strung as well. Whimpering, Chihara leans against me. I just really want everyone to get along. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It's just so many things have happened. Maybe coming here wasn't such a good idea after all. After a few minutes of silence, Chihara detaches herself from me, and retreats to her shared room with Shazeo. Bidding her good night, I glance at the closed door where my bed should be. I honestly doubt Ember would want to see my face tonight. Not knowing what else to do, I drop myself into an armchair, feeling rather useless. In my head I keep going over the situation, how Chihara snapped, how Ember freaked out, and the whole mess between Shazeo and Emery, and I still can't figure out what's been going on with Ember and Shazeo to begin with. What if I really am just overthinking things? That can't be, right? There must be something to the hushed conversation between Ember and Shazeo that day. What if I am looking at this from a wrong angle? What if Ember is the only one who has a secret, and Shazeo is the only one who figured it out? What if Shazeo was on board with it until that day when ghosts swarmed the school? What if Shazeo wants to out Ember and is being pressured? What if Ember is trying to shift the blame onto Shazeo and now trying to turn everyone against her? Pinching the bridge of my nose, I let out a long sigh. I won't get anywhere with assumptions. So far, they just have me stuck in a circle. The only thing I know is that I have to figure out the answer before everything boils over and more disasters happen. Of course, the next day is rainy. That effectively shuts us all inside, and I don't think anyone's too happy about that. Really? Can't we have a normal day without, like, anything bad happening? The forecast said this week is supposed to be clear. Sorry, guys. Don't be, it's not your fault. Yeah, Shazeo is the one who brought the storm. Just like Ember said. But it's definitely a bummer though. With Emery still sick and confined to her room, Ember has also taken to avoid leaving her room. It's definitely a downer having to sit inside. How is Emery, by the way? Emery still runs a fever. I gave her some cold medicine, but we don't have anything else if she gets sicker. Should we call an ambulance? I did call the tower this morning. The doctor said to watch her conditions and update him if it worsens. I don't think they would want to send out a boat in this weather. No, Shazeo, I don't think that the condition is severe enough to get a boat out. We all peek through the curtains, wincing at the grey sky and wiping rain outside. Holy Christ, it is stormy. Let's just have a lazy day inside, alright? Yeah, alright. We settle down for a quick brunch. After all the drama last night, not even Shahara has the energy to make anything fancy. She makes us a warming, light chicken and wild mushroom soup, teeming with buttered toast. Shahara brings Ember her portion, while I am tasked with Ember as Shazeo sets up the table for us. The door is unlocked, so I knock twice, opening it ajar. Ember, I got food. The lights are off. Judging by the big lump on the bed, Ember probably hasn't gotten over last night and is now sulking. Biting back a sigh, I carefully place her food tray by the door. It's raining outside, so we're just gonna stay inside. Play some games or watch TV. No response. Ooh. What is going on here now? If you're feeling better, you can come join us. We're just gonna be out there, okay? Knowing that I'm not going to reach her, I quietly withdraw, closing the door behind me. Chihara is standing just outside, biting her lips. How's Ember? Not talking to me, that's for sure. Don't worry about it, she'll come around. Let's just have lunch, okay? Alright. We eat in silence, letting the growing pitter-patter of rain and whatever mindless TV show Shazeo puts on fills in the blanks. Basically just letting the cushions swallow us and avoid all the issues that has been going on. Outside, the rain seems to only grow worse. Do you guys just want to play some board games or party games? Something? Shazera's bored and I can't blame her. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, do you guys want to ask the others if they want to join? Shazera relinquishes with a sigh. I'll go ask Emmy. That leaves either me or Shahara to have to go to Ember. We exchange a long look. Do you think that Ember is still mad at me? I don't think she's mad at you, she's just worried, yeah. I think that is it, but I have a strange but dreading feeling that it could be the other one. She's just worried. Shahara chews on her bottom lip worriedly. Do you think you should yell at me if I go in there? I don't know she would. If you feel uncomfortable, just shout, okay? I'll come right in. Okay. Now alone, I scour through the shelves in the living room and pulling out a few games for us to play. There is a trivia game that doesn't restrict player numbers, a few dice games, word plays, and charade. While I doubt that either Emery or Ember would want to join us, I figured it would be best to be optimistic. It's going to be one long day. Drawn out day. One long drawn out day. Now I still haven't been able to talk to anyone one-on-one. If I'm going to be realistic, the only person who would be capable of helping me solve the mystery of the school's attack is Emery, but I have no way to disarm her walls. Ember is probably going to deny everything and most likely get mad at me. Worse, I don't even know what kind of power she and Shazeo were talking about, so I have to be cautious. The remaining option is Shazeo, but dare I trust her? Shazeo has always been more play than work, but I don't doubt that she has her own secrets. Speaking of the devil, Shazeo emerges from Emery's room. Wearing a stormy expression, she mumbles something under her breath before heading into the bathroom. I take it whether the conversation they had in there didn't go well. When Shazeo returns, her face is still splattered with water. Huffing out a sigh, she drops herself next to me on the sofa. Everything alright? No, obviously not. Sorry, it's just, she just grates my nerves sometimes. I went in there, you know, to apologise and stuff, but yeah, it's my fault. But she just had to rub it in, but it proves her point about me being childish. Like, yeah, I get it, it's my fault, but that is supposed to be but this is supposed to be a vacation. She didn't have to go if all she's going to do is nag me. Do you even know how much nagging I had to sit through before this trip? It's absurd. Ah, so this started before the vacation. No wonder Shazeo acted out at the festival. Everyone just started piling up on top of one another after. Feeling somewhat sympathetic, I pat her shoulder. Maybe this is a perfect opportunity to have a quick chat with Shazeo. Must be tough, dealing with someone like Emery on a daily basis. You have no idea. I know I'm not the best role model in the world. Heck, I'm probably the worst of all I care. For all I care, sorry. But that's not important to me. It's important to Emery though, because whatever I do, it reflects on the family. Shazeo makes exaggerated air quotes before letting out a huff and falling back into the sofa, leaning her head on my shoulder. Suddenly she looks exhausted. It sucks. Sometimes it feels like I don't have any identity or anything to myself really. Anything I do, even if I keep quiet as a mouse about it, Emery or her henchmen will always find out. And her body was disappeared again. It's like I don't even have a life. That explains a lot actually. Whatever Shazeo and Ember have been keeping away from us, high chances are Emery already has known. And regardless if she does or doesn't, neither Ember nor Shazeo would want Emery to get involved, judging by how Emery has been handling incidences back in town. Sorry, I've been ranting, haven't I? No, it's alright. I can see how frustrating it can get. Oh? And here I thought you're #Team Emery. I'm not. Stop that, I was just trying to be nice. Heh, you really are a nice guy, aren't you? Feeling bashful, I rub the back of my neck, keenly aware that Shazeo is still nestled up against me. I try. Oh, really? Real talk though, you don't have to. People like you the way you are. I like the way you are. Wait, what? I think that sudden statement just froze my brain. How would you even respond to something like that out of the blue, exactly? Thankfully, a door slamming behind us saves me from having to answer. Chihiro makes her way to the living room, expression blank and fists balled up by her sides. Oh boy. Cautiously, I inch away from Shazeo. Everything alright in there? No, not really. What's going on with Ember? Are you guys still angry at each other? Oh. I overheard a bit of a conversation last night. Kinda woke up to be yelling. Oh crap, sorry. How much has she really heard? No need to apologise. Can't blame anyone for the emotions running high after last night. Well, at least it's over for now, right? I guess you can say that. Chihiro, what is spinning within that head of yours? So, who's up for some games? I glance over at Chihiro, but she firmly keeps her eyes on her knees, biting back a sigh. I must have a sigh and smile at Shazeo and spread my finds out. Got a few board games here. Most of them recommend 4 people though. How about some card games? Sounds good. What do you think, Chihiro? Sure. Wow, Shiharu's pretty out of it, huh? I'll watch as Shizeo pulls out a deck of cards and shuffles them expertly. You guys okay with Dai Fugo? Sure. What's a Dai Fugo? I'm glad that snapped you out of your could-be yandere embrace. You never played Dai Fugo before? No, my parents don't like me playing card games. Gosh, wow, why? Sheltered, huh? Flare, mind if I go first and to explain? The floor is yours. Honestly, I'm glad that Shizeo has managed to grab Shiharu's attention and distract her. As Shizeo explains the rules to Shiharu, I could see the shine in Shiharu's eyes growing brighter with every card combination being pressed to her. So, the Joker can be a substitute for any combination? Yep, and it would make the combination it's used in equal to the same combination of the same set. And 2 is the highest singularity. Yep. We play slowly to work out the kinks with Shiharu. She's a quick learner naturally, and by the end of the second game, Shiharu's generally having fun. And finished! Yay! You like this game? Mm-hmm. Sorry that I didn't know how to play it. It's alright. To be honest, I didn't know how to play card games until I got to high school either. For real? Really? Yeah. I was, way sheltered when I was younger. I was a bit of an unplanned child, but that doesn't mean I got to let loose either. It's all about the family's image, you know. But really? Yeah, our mother was super strict with everything. She was never affectionate and father was never there. Emery thrived in that kind of environment though. Not me, obviously. I'm sorry. It's fine. I mean, it sounds like some tear-jerking sob story, but it doesn't matter much. You can't choose your family after all. To be fair, they didn't know what to do with me. She only ever needs one hair, so they put me into Emery's routines at first. But it was a bad idea considering she has all those crazy Milko powers, and I don't. Maiko powers. Like what she did on, you know, that day at school. Yeah. Why didn't you, Emery, never show us that she could do all that kind of stuff? That would have gotten her so much more support from the club from the get-go. I said it before and I will always say it again. It's hard to tell with Emery, but I know that she doesn't do things without a purpose. I don't think she wants to prove anything to anyone. She knows what she is and what she can do. It doesn't matter to her what other people think. Yikes. That makes sense. Emery doesn't need to prove to anyone what she is capable of. And we certainly haven't done anything to prove to Emery that we would be of help. Yeah, sounds pretty bad, but I never got to actually explore the options until my mother passed away. I was kind of kept under locks and keys to make sure I wouldn't get in Emery's way. So I feel you there, Shiharu. Turning her gaze downward, Shiharu fidgets nervously. I don't really think my parents take me seriously. A bit surprised that Shiharu decides to be open about this particular subject. I turn my full attention to her. I know I'm shy and, I'm just not as assertive. They do get overprotective though. Shiharu's smile turns sad. I found out before the trip. They only let me to do this because Flare would be there, and you guys, they would never let me take a trip alone. Oh, Shiharu, it's okay. I'm used to this, really. Shiharu, you don't have to force yourself. Eyes still glued to her knee, Shiharu chews her lower lip. We got into an argument. Things were brought up. It's nothing really. I really wants to become a chef. I'm sensing a but here. I know Mama wants me to take over the company someday, but Papa doesn't think I'll be capable enough. On paper, I'm smart, but I don't have the attitude. You know, Sometimes I wish I could be someone like Emery, so I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I hear you. Aww. Shizeo goes over to huddle together with Shiharu. Heads together, they clutch each other's hands. Shiharu with tears in her eyes and Shizeo's looking forlorn. Suddenly it hits me. I'm not needed here. I got so absorbed over the incident, I forgot that all Shiharu wanted to do was for everyone to forget all about it in the first place. Even for just a few days, she just wants to forget. She has never been the confrontational type, and she wants the best for everyone, despite however she might feel inside. Honestly, I think that me, Ember and Emery came here with every ulterior motive possible. I may or may not have made it worse with the conversation I had with them. What if Shizeo's intention is the same as Shiharu? What if Emery has done the same to her before the trip as Shiharu's parents? Feeling my head hurt and heart burdened, I step away, leaving the two girls to lament together. But what can we do on this stormy day? I step outside to the porch for some air. It's still raining hard outside. It doesn't seem to let up any time soon. Not the greatest thing to happen right now. Barely 3 days in and this trip already sucks. I might not have caused the discord, but I sure as hell stirred the pot. Maybe in Ember's eyes. Shizeo isn't innocent, but neither is she. None of us is really. We all have a little bit of darkness inside us. Maybe I can try to convince Emery or Ember to tone it down, if not for Shiharu's sake, then for the vacation itself. I know at least Ember was excited for it from the get-go, and she obviously does care about Shiharu. I have less hope about Emery cooperating. She has never been the type to work with anyone, and getting her to even listen to something she doesn't want to would be like trying to stuff Ember into a pink frilly dress. After the conversation I had with her on the beach, she would probably think I'm insincere if I turn around and tell her to drop it. But I have to try, right? For Shiharu's sake. I decide to test my luck with Ember, at least this time around. Ember is no longer a mopping pile and is sitting up on the bed, turning her head off with a frown. Oh, sorry, I should have knocked. It's fine. Can we, talk? Oh, the feeling of stepping into a cold puddle with your socks on is never pleasant. Startled, skip backwards, almost falling onto my rump. Apparently Ember doesn't know how to dry herself off after a shower. Oh, sorry. It's fine. Woefully, I peel off my soppy socks. This just keeps getting better and better. So, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about Shiharu, actually. Ugh, I should have known. Before she could try and ignore me again, I rush ahead. Please, listen. I know you care about Shiharu, and I know you don't trust Shizeo, but Shiharu has put a lot of thought into this trip. Shiharu really got shaken up over the instances at school. She really just wants to forget about it. Look, Ember, I don't care if you want to keep an eye on Shizeo. I think you do have a point about her being volatile, but please keep your conflicts away from Shiharu. She has suffered enough. You don't know what you're talking about. Huh? You know what? Fine. I'll keep it down. But we're switching rooms and that's final. Wait, what? Before I could even stop her, Ember whirls past me and into the living room. This can't be good. I hurry after Ember, dreading what might come out of this. Shiharu, you're switching rooms with me. Wait, what are you talking about? Flare is getting on my nerves. Wait, what? Both Shiharu and Shizeo look between me and Ember, while I stare at Ember in disbelief. This is the excuse she comes up with? Or is she really that angry with me over telling her off? Ember, what's going on? I thought you were mad at me. Flare just has things to say about everything. I'm sick of it. It's alright. I can switch rooms with you if you don't want. No! All of us clamp our mouths shut when Ember snaps. We watch as she breathes heavily through her nose, clearly trying to rein in her anger. No. I'm not happy with either of them. I'm moving into your room. Aww. Tearfully, Chiharu springs up from her seat and runs into her and Shizao's shared room, slamming the door closed behind her. Really? I can't believe you just did that. And I thought you cared about Chiharu. Flare, you should check on Chiharu. I'm going to move my stuff. Sorry, Shizao. Just leave my stuff at the door. Don't work. Oh, shut up. And leaves as well. Shaking her head, Shizao stalks towards Chiharu and now my shared room, cautiously knocking on the door. Chiharu, you okay? Only muffled crying is heard from the other side for a long moment. Sorry, but I just want to be alone right now. It's alright. We'll be out here if you need anything. Okay, Chiharu? No answer. Sign. I tug on a reluctant Shizao's arm and guide her back into the living room. What a mess, huh? That's putting it lightly. We both solemnly look down at the scattered cards on the table. Shizao finally sucks in a deep breath, breaking our silence. Let's just clean up. Maybe get dinner going? Alright. I doubt either Chiharu or Ember would have any appetite right now, but at least this would give us something to do. So, what did you tell Ember that peed herself off so badly? I basically told her to dial down with the whole anger thing. Ouch. Yeah, she didn't take that kindly. She didn't take kindly to that. That's Ember for you. Biting my lips, I focus on the boiling miso in front of me. After what just happened, now would be a good time to bring up more issues. Shizao, did you know Ember prior to the club? I kinda know everyone, so yeah, what's up? How is she like? Has Ember always been like this? If by this you meant always so angry and volatile to anyone opposing her opinions, then yeah. Probably why she doesn't have many friends. I winced at that. So Shizao doesn't have a high opinion of Ember either. Were you guys actually, well, friends before the whole club thing? Shizao stopped short of chopping up the mushrooms, thinking for a moment. Honestly, not to me, no. But I think she might... Well, I think she thought of me more to her than what I have thought of her, if you catch my drift. So Ember used to actually consider Shizao a friend, but the feeling isn't mutual. That lines up with what Ember told Chiharu. How come? Shizao shrugs and goes back to her chopping board. Like I said, she's volatile. I mean, I know I'm not the best person out there, but people like Ember, you don't know what she's gonna flip on you. From the little time I spent with her, I gotta say, that girl has some real issues, and she tends to take it out on the people around her. Is that why Ember isn't popular at school? Yeah, people are scared of her, which is kind of dumb, but at the same time, I can't blame them. The high school populace is easily impressionable. Ember just doesn't have a good image, and the little things she does are enough to keep the rumor mill going. I see. You're pretty thorough, aren't you? I roll my eyes at Shizao. I'm just worried about Chiharu in general. She's close to Ember, and Ember said she cares for Chiharu, but what she just did makes you doubt her. Pretty much, yeah. I think it was because of Chiharu's comments about Shizao, and Chiharu thought that Shizao didn't do it on purpose, but out of like a knee-jerk reaction. But Ember is definitely anti-Shizao. We sink into silence once more and pay attention to the food. I'm nowhere near Chiharu in terms of cooking skills, but at least I know how to make simpler things. Somewhat. Does this taste alright to you? I hold out a spoonful of miso soup for Shizao. She takes a sip, smacking her lips together. I think it needs more dashi. You're right. What are you making? Just a quick stir fry. I'm not that good with this kind of stuff. I know my greens and mushrooms at least, but don't expect anything fancy. I'm not that great either. Should we get some rice going? Oh yeah, Yeah, one of the last things that you do, since it doesn't take much time at all to cook rice. I survey the mess we have made at an attempt for dinner. It's not that bad of a disaster, though I'm pretty sure Shizeo has chopped most of her poor vegetables up beyond recognition. Wrinkling my nose and knowing I'm going nowhere near what she's making, I check out the fridge as Shizeo clutters around with the rice. I guess it leaves some sort of protein for dinner. Yeah, probably. I think there's some salmon in there. Yeah, I see it. Maybe some grilled salmon? Should be easy enough. Sure. In the end, I don't think our efforts are that shabby. My first try at the salmon was a bit raw and bland, but with some adjustments I thankfully didn't burn everything down. The food looks poor compared to what Shiharu has served us, but at least everything tastes alright. Or so Shizeo said with a nervous chuckle. I hope they won't get food poisoning from this. I hope we don't get food poisoning. Oh heck, you're right. We share a laugh and go to sit at the table. I'll bring the food to Emery. You want to try and get the other two out? Sure. Giving me a thumbs up, Shizeo leans away with Emery's food tray. She dodged that bullet real quick, huh? I'll go up to Shiharu's door first. Shiharu, we made dinner. Do you want to have something to eat? Not unexpected silence greets me. Alright, we'll set aside a portion for you, okay? Come out if you feel any better. No answering. Shaking my head, I turn towards Ember's door. Ember? Silence again. Why do these girls have to be so infuriating? Before I can try again or walk away, the door creaks open. I open my mouth, only to have my bag shoved into my chest, sloppy socks included. Just as quickly as Ember's arms appeared, it disappeared behind a slammed door. My jaws hung open, unable to form a word. Wow, that bad, huh? I turn around and roll my eyes at her. What do you think? Let's just have dinner then. I set my stuff down on the couch, pulling out a chair at the dining table with more force than necessary. I slumped down, scratching my head furiously. Quietly, Shizeo sits down beside me. This sucks. Tell me about it. Do you want me to have a word with Ember? I don't think that would be a good idea. Shizeo pauses for a moment, then sighs. We push our food around, not able to stomach any of it. I think I have to say sorry as well. How come? I kinda started it alright. I should have kept my mouth shut with Emery. It happens. What's going on now isn't your doing. I really just wanted to enjoy this whole thing, you know? My first time away from town and all. I'm sorry, Shizeo. What are you sorry about? This isn't your fault. To be fair, I could have been less high-strung coming here in general. This is about the school, isn't it? Yes. Shizeo, what do you know about all of this? Shizeo pushed her bowl aside, rubbing her face tightly. I honestly didn't expect her to bring this issue up on her own, much less willing to talk about it. But then again, just as Shizeo has said about Emery, she too is difficult to tell. Nobody's allowed to talk about it for once. Emery? Mostly. She doesn't want outsiders to pry or make a big deal about it. That's what Emery told me. At least Shizeo has been honest so far. But it is a big deal. It's not normal for spirits to behave like that. Glancing at my raised eyebrow, Shizeo quickly amends. Well, from what we've seen anyway. Why do you think it happened? I'm pretty sure it's because Emery went berserk on those seals around school. I was on the fence when she when she enforced them, but I had nothing to argue against that, so I kept my mouth shut. There's no swaying her anyway, so that still checks out. Only one thing is left out. What do you think will happen to the club now? Disband. Honestly, I don't think there's gonna be a club anymore. Ember's whole shtick about denying supernatural stuff, right? Now that this has been proven true, there are just too many possibilities to explore. I find it weird that Ember doesn't believe any of that stuff. I mean, you, Emery, obviously have dealt with supernatural cases before. Shahara even said some of them were covered on local news. Why is it so hard for Ember to believe they are real? Well, first of all, it's easy to disregard anything that doesn't have hard proof, right? The newspapers and online articles only ever talked about freak accidents and some cleansing rituals. Hard exorcisms were spoken about as purification rites. What I'm saying is, Ember is the type that has to see it to believe it. Yeah, you're right. But she did see it. She did see the ghosts and the spirits in the school. She definitely isn't going to go anywhere near what she and Ember were talking about. And why should she? As far as Shizeo knows, I was never there to eavesdrop. She doesn't know if she can trust me enough to blabber about Ember's secret power, whatever it is. At least we're away from town now. We won't have to deal with that mess until we get back. I guess so. Flare, what got you so worried? Do I trust Shizeo enough to tell her that I overheard her conversation? I'm just worried about Shiharu. She is super invested in this trip and now everything seems to be falling apart. And I don't know how to fix it. Shizeo watches me for a moment before letting out a sigh. She smiles, but there is something almost bitter about it. Melancholic even. Shiharu is a lucky girl. I don't think she realized how lucky she is to have you. Surprised that the conversation has turned to this, I stare at her as my brain scrambles to respond. That's kind of you to say, Shizeo, but I'm just doing what a friend should. Even the words taste stale in my mouth. Have I really been a good friend the last couple of days? Do I really have Shiharu's best interests at heart? And that makes you a good friend, Flare. I wish I had someone that cared about me like you care about Shiharu. Shizeo. Impulsively, I reach out and squeeze her hand. Shizeo blinks in surprise, but she gives in with a smile, squeezing my hand back. I meant what I said, you know. I don't have the courage to ask for clarification, because I know what she is talking about. I find the door unlocked when it's time for bed. Shizeo quickly slipped away after our quiet exchange of her luggage and didn't speak another word to me. Maybe it's for the best. Awkwardly, I slip into my bed and lie as still as I can. The pillow still smells like Shizeo's fragrance. It's late, but I'm wide awake. Judging by Shiharu's subtle shifting, so is she. I don't have to be a genius to know Shiharu is still upset. It's hard to not be when your friend acts out on Ember had, sorry. I badly want to cheer Shiharu up, but I don't know how. But it'd get even worse if I just stay quiet. Shiharu? She doesn't give any indication that she's heard that. Taking a deep breath to steel myself, I venture forward. Shiharu, what happened with Save it. I can't see her in the darkness, but her voice is chipped, muffled under her blanket. Was it because she had been crying? But Shiharu doesn't give me time to continue. What? Whatever you wanted to say. Save it. I want none of your pity. Shiharu, what's going on? Why are you talking like that? I know all about it. How you've been flirting with everyone. How you care for Emery. Joke with Ember. Shizeo! Shiharu, what are you talking about? What flirting? You've been charming with everyone. Yeah, because we're friends. Can't we be friendly with everyone? Can we only be friendly with you, Shiharu? I sense a yandere appearing right before us. I sense the chaos is starting right now. I can't even work my mouth for several seconds. Shiharu, they are my friends. How else am I supposed to treat them? You don't cuddle with your friends on the couch. Shizeo was in distress. I did the same for you when you were crying. Why are you saying those things, Shiharu? You're the one who told me that everyone should get along. Getting along is not the same as flirting. Then what do you want me to do then, Shiharu? Yell at them and tell them to get their own space like Ember did to you? As soon as the words left my mouth, I knew I overstepped it. Shiharu's rapid breathing makes me feel even more guilty, but that only fuels my anger more. I'm not going to be able to sleep like this. Kicking my blanket off, I make my way to the door. Carefully closing the door behind me, I let out a sigh. No matter where I look, things are just messy right now. I get it that Shiharu is hurt, and I get it that she needs someone or something to vent her frustrations, but using me as a punching bag isn't right at all. Sliding the glass door open, a gust of cold wind raises goosebumps on my skin, setting chills in the very tip of my toes. The rain has subsided to a drizzle now, but there's no telling if it's going to pick up again or not. Still, the air is refreshing, and the mist calms me somewhat, out in the open and with only silence as my companion. Or so I thought. Amidst the sound of lapping waves, I can hear voices. It seems other people have the same idea of getting some air. I told you, I don't want any part of your game. Is that Ember? A long pause then. You know damn well this isn't a game. What's the plan then? We're out here, alone, with them. Your sister is incapacitated. Shiharu and Flare are useless. I thought you cared about Shiharu and Flare. Another pause. I held down behind a rock, where I can just make out Ember and Shizeo glaring at each other. They obviously are in some kind of disagreement. It's kinda clear neither of them trust me or even feel the same. Well, at least Shiharu does. She's truly upset about what you said. Since when do you care? Ember bares her teeth at Shizeo, who folds her arms and holds out her chin haughtily. I'm not going to stick around and let them disrespect me like that, especially not because you decide to wedge yourself in between me and them. You're being such a hothead. Yeah, and how are you going to stop me? Gosh, and now Ember transforms. So this is her power. I can't believe my eyes. Somehow, Ember seems to have grown and taller, her hair bushier, and her limbs elongate, whatever that word is. When she speaks again, her voice is all garbled, like there are marbles in her mouth. I'm done listening to your lies. Now get out of my way before anyone gets hurt. With her hands up, Shizeo slowly sidewalks away from Ember, right towards where I'm hiding. Feeling slightly panicked, I scoop down. I can't run away now. They would surely see me. My heart drops with every clenching step Shizeo takes, and then when she stops, still out of sight, then I let out a tiny breath. On the other side, I hear Ember's grunts seemingly take off in a different direction. Good. Safe for now. Now I just need to... Flare? Ah! Sorry! I spring up into a defensive stance. Shizeo stares on, biting her lips. She doesn't look offended, however, which surprised my disheveled head a bit. It's okay, Flare. What was that all about? What kind of secrets are you two keeping? And how the hell did Ember grow bigger? Oh, Flare, you have to calm down. How much of that did you hear? Can I trust her? Can I really say anything to Shizeo now? Know that she and Ember has been going behind our backs all this time. Unfortunately, Shizeo has always been sharper than she lets on. Look, I know you feel like you can't trust me right now, but please believe me when I say this. Everyone on this island is in danger. But what? The secret. The secret I've been keeping for Ember. You're going to think I'm crazy, but Ember is possessed by the legendary curse. It mutated her and she can turn into some kind of wolf monster. Hellhound. My eyes widen. My head spins with this crazy out of the blue reveal, but Shizeo doesn't give me time to process. Listen to me. You can think about this after all you want, but we have to get the others out now. The curse feeds on other people's souls. I've been trying to keep Ember at bay for a while, but she doesn't listen to me anymore. Well, why didn't you bring this up to Emery? Are you kidding me? Emery would have killed her on the spot. That brings a chill down my spine. before the someone I know kill a friend? Well, the craziest part is that it's not unbelievable when it comes to Emery. Oh god, what has this become? Flare, snap out of it! Get Shahara and get help! I'm going to try and stall at Ember. But what? How? Shizaya bites down on her lower lips. I can't believe my eyes. Shizaya pulls out 2 curved knives from her pocket, swinging them expertly. Emery isn't the only one who knows how to keep the supernatural at bay. One last thing. Still shell-shocked, I couldn't react when Shizaya lunges forward, pressing herself against me. Her kiss is forceful but desperate. Shizaya's arms wind around me, ties a steel cage and traps me from lips to toes. The warm tip of her tongue darts out, licking the stem of my mouth. Her heated scent fills my senses, an elegant and bewitching perfume, woodsy and with a spike of something both sharp and coiling. Shizaya breaks away just as sudden as she leans in. Smiling, she winks at me, just in case, and runs away. As I stand there, toes digging into the damp sand, a million thoughts race inside my head. Am I dreaming? This isn't all just an elaborate joke, right? A distant crack of lightning breaks my reverie. Startled, I make a mad dash back to the villa, praying that everyone in there is alright. It's too quiet inside. Half of me still wants to believe that this is just a prank, but the other half has my heart hammering like a rabbit. Has Shizaya managed to stop Ember? Where are they? My eyes trail down the corridor. Getting the others out, huh? Get Emery. Even if I don't agree with her methods, maybe Emery could help me out. If Ember is possessed by the curse Shizaya said, then Emery would be the best person to help me. Right? Sucking in stilted breaths, I cautiously knock on the door. Emery? No answer, she's probably asleep. Feeling a bit silly now, I swallow and knock again. Emery, so if I wake you, I just need to... To my astonishment, the door quietly creaks open. Emery? Still no answer. Emery, I'm coming in. Surprisingly, all the lights are on in here. How did she manage to sleep so soundly? Emery, are you all... Oh my gosh. She was stabbed. Looking at the neck area. Was she stabbed by Shiharu? My voice dies in my throat. Instead, what comes out is a mix between a gasp and a scream. There, lying still on her bed, is Emery, dead with a knife in her chest. Shaken like a possessed man, I approach her. I can't. Her eyes have rolled upward in her death, her mouth stuffed to the brim with cloth and papers, her throat slit wide open. Emery is dead. One of us has murdered her. I can't stand it anymore. Buckling and empty the content of my stomach to the floor, choking between a sob and a scream. Emery. How could this happen? Shiharu! But I don't have time to grieve or to even think. A searing pain spread across my back. Shocked, I stumble forward, hands skiddily helpless on the floor. What? I was stabbed. Traitor. An arm braced across the back of my neck, pinning me down and jamming my face onto the floor. I struggle, thrashing in pain as the weapon twists in my back. No! I can't move. Every scream I make is cut off with a sickening stab, reducing me to a mess of gargles, blood and fear. No, I don't. I knew it was you. You did this to our friends. You insane yandere who is jealous of other people's affection for others. End. Back to title then. Let's see what happened if we knock on Shiharu's door then. Maybe we'd have more time to intercept the insanity that is Shiharu. Get Shiharu. Let's humour Shizaya for a second here. What if what she said is true? What if somehow Ember really is possessed? We have seen the ghost invasion. so I don't think anything is too far-fetched anymore. Besides, this would perfectly explain the whole secret thing Ember and Shazeo were talking about, and why they were so on edge over Emery's seals, and why Shazeo thought Ember was responsible. The one responsible. But does that mean Ember is really going to hurt us? Hurt Shiharu? My stomach does a sickening flip at that thought. Better safe than sorry. Shiharu, can I come in? Silence greets me. I'm not surprised that she doesn't want to talk to me. The longer I'm left here, alone, the more uneasy I feel. Shiharu, I know you're upset with me right now, but you gotta listen to me, okay? You're not safe in there. No answer. Shiharu might think I'm pulling some kind of prank. Shiharu, I'm coming in, okay? If I'm wrong, you can yell at me or hit me later. Whack! Of course the room is empty. The pale light from the corridor showing Shiharu's perfectly vacant bed. Where could she possibly be? Pulling out my phone, I quickly dial her numbers, only to realise that, as Shiharu said, there is no signal. Great. Get Emery. Of course this is going to be another variation of this bad end. Even if I don't agree with her methods, maybe Emery can help me out? Possessed by the curse. I think this is going to be the same. Yeah, the same. Definitely the same. For goodness sake, Shiharu, you have some real issues when it comes to us. You think that you are the only one that we can be friendly with. Then how should we treat everyone else then? Like strangers. So, get Shiharu, and then get help. There is no sign of Shiharu being out here either. Swallowing dryly, I pick up the landline, but then hesitate. Who the hell is going to believe me when I say a wolf monster is attacking us? What am I even going to say? My heart stops for 3 full beats as the sound of glass shattering, sending a rain of shards all over the room. I am tumbling Ember, who now, under the proper lighting, has me letting out a terrified shout. Her ears popped out of Ember's bushy hair, and her hands have thickened into claws. A long furry tail lashes from her backside. Irritation clear. The bulk of her body has grown, easily towering over me, but also hunched in a grotesque way. Shizeo didn't lie. I scramble away, but the noises I've made already have attracted the monster's attention. Surprised, she turns, only to snarl. You idiot! Get away from him! A blur goes flying through a broken door. Nimbly, Ember dodges it, vaulting over and tearing a chunk out of sofa. Shizeo! Shizeo's breathing is rigid. Even though I can't see anything bleeding, Shizeo seems to be barely holding herself up, despite her firm grip on the blades. Flare, get away! Ember's head snaps between the two of us, and then her expression morphs into one of pure fury. Shizeo, you blank! And charged at Shizeo. Huffing, Shizeo vaults out of the way at the very last second, pacing herself before me as Ember collides against a wall. Flare, you need to get out now! What about you? Whatever Shizeo says next is drowned out by the sound of Ember's roaring and the teeth-grinding noise of her claws digging into the wall for balance. Howling Ember charges at Shizeo, at us, again. For a split second, Shizeo looks at me with so much fear in her eyes. I am suddenly tossed aside like a ragdoll. Stumbling, my knees hit the coffee table, ripping out the painful yelp from my lips. A whoosh of cold air fills the room, carrying Shizeo's voice over it. Sorry, Flare. Whoa! Her true form has come out. The curse has been unveiled. Against the darkness, Shizeo stands, furrowed by the huge glass door, signals glowing as if burned into her body, and her eyes are the deepest pits of hell. But this time, she is not evil against us, but fighting with some conviction rather than selfishness, or, as we learned from Shizeo's good ending, the desire to survive and the prevention of the break of her mask. I know that image will forever be seared in my mind. Run! The transformed Ember makes a swipe for Shizeo, whose carved blades fend off the attack. Shrieking noise of metal meeting claws could have woken the dead. As Ember and Shizeo exchange blow after blow, Without thinking, I rush out through the back door. The cold air does nothing to mute the screaming, filling my mind and playing over and over again like a broken record. This is just a bad dream, isn't it? Why did everything have to turn out like this? I dash along the beach until the tides drown out the chaos going back over the villa. God, it's so easy now. It'd be so easy to pretend it's all just a dream. A terrible, terrible nightmare. But until I see Shiharu again. Shiharu! Shiharu, where are you? I run and run, but all my calls are met with silence. Fear makes me hot and cold. What if Shiharu returns to the villa and gets caught up into this whole mess again? What if her last memory she has of us is that awful, stupid fight? I shudder to a stop, looking back where the villa should be. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to have to confront with them, with Shizeo glowing like a demon and Ember as a monster. I don't want to die. But Shiharu's out there somewhere, and if she comes back, and if the other two are still there, I can't bear to even imagine the possible consequences. Besides, I tell myself, all our means of communications are back there. If any of us want to get off this accursed island, we need to make a call. Heart pounding, I force my feet to carry me back. My stomach drops when I remember Emery is still inside. Dead. I hope I'm not too late. The lights are on when I dare myself to enter. The house is quiet, eerily so, but persistent growling, cursing and cleaning of weapons assure me that the fight is still going on. Looking at the broken glass on the floor, it feels like a decade has passed when in reality, I've probably left for 10 minutes max. Gulping, I assess the situation. The situation is still in disrepair. There is no sign of Shiharu, not in our shared bedroom, and there is no answer when I cautiously call out for her. Shaking, I pick up the abandoned landline and shakily dial the emergency number. Please pick up. It's not picking up, is it? Mainland to Shinigawa Island, how can I help? I almost collapse out of relief and nerves. We need help. Some bad things, really bad things happen, so I'm not... I choke, not knowing how to describe it to the person. Calm down, what's the situation there? Is anyone hurt? Are you hurt? I'm fine, but I'm not sure. One of us is missing. One is out cold and the other two, they're coming to blows, and I don't know how to stop them. Suddenly I feel my hair stand on end. Soft footfalls, crunching on the glass. Have me spinning around. And it's you. Coming face to face with a disheveled Shiharu, eyes glassy and face frozen in a twisted expression, she emerges from the shadow of the corridor, a knife in her hand. Shiharu? Shiharu, are you okay? Shiharu? Something isn't quite right. A terrible, terrible feeling wells up in my gut. I take a careful step backwards and away from her. Hands still around the phone. The person on the other side still rattles out questions, but I can no longer hear them. The quiet clicking of the glass snaps Shiharu's head up. My eyes widen. Throwing myself to the side, I barely dodge as Shiharu lunges forward, knife aimed at my chest. The phone cord snaps, another notch to my tree of bad luck, as I spin behind Shiharu, trying to keep my distance. Shiharu, please stop! Blank. That blank can't. No, that blank can't have you. My friend, my beloved childhood friend staggers over. The ever-present light in her eyes is lost, replaced by someone, something that I cannot recognize. Shiharu, please, this isn't you. I narrowly dodge again, backing down the corridor as she lashes out with a kitchen knife, voice distorted and hoarse. If I can't have you, then no one else can. Each blood-curdling shout is punctured with a slash, splitting the air between us and trapping me. Please, Shiharu! But there's no reaching out to her. Shiharu is lost in a twisted form of emotions, and I'm only making it worse. A flicker of light catches my eye, and I duck, running to Emery's room and slamming the door behind me, locking Shiharu outside. But even though the thick door, I can still hear her screeches and the deadly stabs she makes against wood. Heart thundering, my eyes ultimately meet the lump on the bed. The lights are on with everything on. How can Emery still be asleep? A sense of dread fills up my senses. I have to lean on the wall to stand upright. Emery! Emery, are you awake? I know. I knew even before I saw her. Why am I so stupid? Lying eagle spread on the bed. Emery is dead. I can't. Her eyes have rolled up in her death. Her mouth stuffed to the brim with cloth and papers. Her throat slit wide open. Her chest is a cavity filled with black blood, staining everything around her like tar. Emery is dead. One of us has brutally murdered her. Shiharu. I can't stand it anymore. Buckling, I empty the contents of my stomach to the floor, choking between a sob and a scream. How could this happen? But I don't have time to grieve, or to even think. The door stabbing has stopped in the midst of my horrifying discovery, but a thundering bang outside shakes the entire foundation of the villa. Terrified act of instinct. Climbing over Emery's corpse, I yank the window open, and graciously fall outside. My ankle twists painfully on impact, but I hobble away only to be knocked down again when Ember goes sailing past me. Ugh! Ah! You! On my rear, I scamper backwards on my hands, concrete and rocks digging into my skin. Who am I kidding? I'm not going to be able to outrun her, not when she was human and certainly not now. You snivering little... She doesn't have time to finish that sentence. Shizuo comes flying out, blades raised for the kill. Die! Dazed, I watch as Ember rolls away, saving her head from being decapitated, but howling as a blade goes through her shoulder. Lashing out, her claws catch Shizuo's abdomen. Flinching, Shizuo stumbles away, her arms cradling a mess of blood. They bounce away from each other. Shizuo makes a stumbling retreat back into the villa, and Ember backing further into the courtyard closer to me. Adrenaline pounding in my ears. I can't tear my eyes away as Ember pulls the swords out, spraying blood in an arc. Black like tar. It sizzles and eats away with stones it touches. Next, her claws ignite, sterilizing the wound. Honestly don't know if I should scream or run, or both. Ember and Shizuo are probably going to fight to the death. Shizuo is out to get me. Emery is already gone. Where's this all gone wrong? Ember sighs. Her hellish features slowly melt back into her normal self, if not covered in cuts. It went wrong when Shiharu invited us. Shiharu? Tears well up in my eyes. It's all my fault. If only I had been straight about what's going on with Shizuo, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. Get Emery. Emery is dead. The colours disappear from Ember's face. What? She's gone. And Shiharu is in some kind of craze. She's coming for me, and and you and Shizuo. Just what kind of play? What the hell? No. This is bad. I yelp as Ember suddenly grabs my arms, holding me to my feet. The fear in her eyes mirrors mine. We've got to get out of here now. What? The boat. We've got to run. Wait, no. I'm not sure what scares me more, Ember's sudden change of mood or her monstrous reveal. Probably both. And I struggle out of instinct. Friend or foe? Ember. Ember is a monster. She lied to us, and she tried to kill us. Should you know the one who has the knife? Shiharu killed Emery. Let go. You stupid son of a... The rest of it comes as a choked grasp. Her movements stutter and she stumbles into me. Fear freezes my vein, and I have a glimpse of what's to come. Shiharu. She... Oh no. Shiharu's small frame has always been dwarfed by Ember. It makes it seem even more grotesque as she has her knife buried deep into Ember's back. He said no. Blank. Shiharu, no! Gosh. With a distorted scream, Shiharu pulls out the blade, bringing it down into Ember's body. Again and again, sickening squelches run blood over me, and Ember collapses. Under the heavy weight of her body, and Shiharu stabs. I fall, screaming until my voice breaks as my childhood friend mutilates the corpse of my clubmate on top of me. Gah! The stabbing slows to a stop. Shiharu stands. Her glassy eyes focus on me. Trapped with a sprained ankle, I quiver as I pale. Stained hand reaches out to grab my face. Shish. I got you now. No one will ever lay a hand on you ever again. No, please! Blade high over their head, a manic gleam reflects in her eyes. I scream, thrashing even though I know it's over. There's no way I can stop this. But Shizeo can. Yah! As sudden as everything else had been, Shiharu is shoved aside. Her grip slacks as she slashes out her flexes, cutting a pouncing Shizeo across the chest. What? Shizeo's there as well? Gah! Shizeo saved me. Adrenaline pumped into overdrive, I shoved Ember's tattered corpse away, pulling myself out from under the gore. Meanwhile, Shiharu regains her balance. Eyes wide, she glares at me and Shizeo. Traitor! Traitor! An arm still cradles her blooded stomach. It's evident Shizeo is at the end of her line. We have to get out. Shows Shizeo is the only one that's sane, even though she's taken her true form. She stumbles on her feet, right into me. The moment I reach out to hold her up, Shiharu's screech splits what's left of my sanity. Die! Everything happens so fast, and so slow at the same time. Shizeo shoves me away, standing between me and the incoming knife. The blade sheaths itself into her flesh. Shiharu's sickening wail cuts short when Shizeo's fist connects with her jaw. They fell apart, slumping like lifeless marionettes. Shiharu out cold and Shizeo. Shizeo was dying. I lump over, sitting on my rib beside Shizeo. A sob bubbles from my lips, looking down at her mangled body. Why didn't I say I like you, Flare? The markings on her bodies once burned crimson are fading. Weakly she grasps at her knife protruding from her chest, her smile shaken. Why all of this? What? Why? I wish I had the time to tell you. Trembling, she reaches out. Shizeo is dying, and all I can do is catching her hand. She smiles, lips stained with blood. As her hand lands in mine, something wails in the distance, drowning out her wretched breaths. Shizeo, I spare Shiharu, not her fault. She coughs, hissing as her broken body is jolted. With the last of her strength, she squeezes my hands in hers. The siren grows louder, and I can see flashes of light reflecting against the wall. Shizeo, please. I hope you can forgive me when tonight. And she fades away with the sounds of crashing tides and distorted static. It's too late for all of us. The end. Oh my gosh. Her lifeless eyes. Credits on. Credits on. It was so sad. For everyone. 3 months later. With rushed steps, I barge out of the building. A shudder hits me as people turn to stare, before moving on with whatever they are doing, taking several huge gulps of air. I count slowly in my head and try to calm my nerves. Oops, I didn't mean to click out of the window. Flare? Huh? At my recoil... Why is she still with us? At my recoil, Shahara pulls her hand back immediately. Sorry. Gosh. Something ugly churns in my stomach, fighting the urge to dry heave right there on the pavement. I avoid looking anywhere near Shaharu. I'm fine. Let's go somewhere more private, alright? I don't forgive you at all, Shaharu. That is not what a friend does for other friends. You don't just let jealousy consume you like that. There is the lightest touch to my elbow, guiding me away from the main street. I try my best not to shrug her off. We remain silent after a waiter brings out our orders. I fiddle with a slice of cake, cutting it to pieces just for something to do. Shahara hasn't touched her portion yet. A sandwich sample selection of all things, and just stirs her tea without looking at me. Funny how it has turned out her. They put us through therapy after the island incident. 4 times a week, 1 hour per session. Sometimes we have to take them together, like today. Shahara was unapproachable for a few weeks that followed, refusing to talk and constantly in tears. As for me, well, the statement I gave to the police was false, of course. How could anyone explain what happened without sounding like a total lunatic? Of course, Ember was the one to blame. I told everyone that Ember killed Emery. It was not Ember, it was Shahara who did that. And tried to go after me and Shazeo. Shahara's panicked retaliation saved me and herself, but we couldn't save Shazeo. The rest was history. We were confined for a while, against our parents' protests of course, but there wasn't much else we could do. We were released when an investigations team dug into the history of the town and uncovered the gruesome mysteries behind our cases. Well, most of it. It is now believed that the causes behind the deaths and disappearances were a result of a cult following dated back hundreds of years, human sacrifices, dark superstitions, that kind of thing. Emery Onishi was responsible for all this, with Ember as her butcher. It is believed that the 4 of us, I, Shaharu, Ember and even Shazeo, were Emery's final sacrifices, but Ember betrayed her at the last minute. Since both Emery and Ember died in the event, no one was prosecuted. A handful of people from the shrine were arrested for questioning, some brought to court. The story made national headlines, and in the end, everything is unresolved. Emery, in this timeline, I don't want to be anywhere near you. What a load of bull. Just like my cover-up story. I doubt the statement released to the public was true. It was all damage control. With everyone seemingly involved in the past murders died, there wasn't anything the authority could do, but we had to reassure the people somehow, just to lie everything to rest. I chance a glance at Shaharu. My family moved out of Kamachi shortly after my release, with Shahara's family relocating her to stay with us. My parents sold my grandpa's house, agreeing that it was for the best. Shahara and I have both been homeschooled since, and we only venture out for our therapy appointments. Shahara throws herself into studying most of the time. It's probably an outlet for her, and she has taken more interest in her parents' business. Anyone would change after such a traumatic event, right? We stayed together because natural to do so. We did survive together, right? She tried to kill you, and yet you are here still forgiving her. I would never tell a soul, not even my therapist, but I only stay with Chihara because I'm afraid she would become maniacal again if I don't. I don't want anyone else to end up like Shazeo. You're clenching your hands again. Slowly I release my utensils. Staring down a mess of chopped up Victorian sponge cake on my plate, I feel nauseated. What are we doing here? The therapy? It isn't going to work. Not for me, is it? Flare? We've only worked with this doctor for less than 2 months, and it's not like everything could just go away like that. It will take years sometimes. You just have to be patient. I know. Shahara clasps her hands together, lips a thin line. For the first time today, I look into her eyes, the kind, loving spark in her eyes, the spark that I knew since I was a kid, is gone. It hadn't been back since that horrifying day at the villa, and I doubt I would ever see it again. Shahara has become savvier, colder. She has learned how to put up masks, to fake a smile here and there. She fits into our cover story seemingly, without any need of rehearsals or plannings. Her tears were the reason everyone ate up our lives after all. This Shahara is someone I no longer know. It's never going to be normal again, is it? Shahara looks away from me and out to the window. Just when I'm about to stand up and leave, Shahara speaks again. Is this how you really want your life to become? Isn't it? But I don't seem to have a choice now, do I? Putting a hand under her chin. There's another error again. Shahara keeps her gaze away from me. Her tone is dreamy, like she'd woken up from a pleasant slumber. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful little girl. She was bright and well behaved, always did her very best in everything she was asked to, but try as she might, she was always outshined by those closest to her, those who were prettier, smarter and better than her in every way. What do you... Shahara ignores me and continues with her tale. That little girl didn't think much of it though. She didn't care that she was being left out, forgotten. She only cared about being next to the one she loved most. They spoke together when no one else could hear them, and the girl was able to open up her heart to someone. And she was happy then, feeling that she was finally loved. The girl vowed to keep that love sacred, to protect that warmth she had desired all her life with all that she was. But what she didn't know was that she was never meant to be seen in that light, that her fate was already decided by those who cared not about her. So she decided to take matters into her own hands. I sit frozen in my chair, tongue-tied. I stare at her, feeling a familiar sense of dread waiting up. Still she fought, and she sacrificed everything. But in the end, that little girl will go down in history as another nameless face, forgotten even as she still walks the earth, wearing a mask that would forever hide behind her broken soul. Shahara smiles at me, an innocent bright smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes, yet grabs hold of my heart and squeezes the life out of it. The moral of the story is, you need to fight for what you deserve, otherwise you'll be just like that little girl. You, forgotten and unknown, never to understand what life could truly offer. Have a good day now, Flare. You're a monster. She picks herself up, elegant and prideful. Before I could get a word out, Shahara's already slipped away, spine straight and never looking back. It's finally over. I had so much fun playing this game. I had so much fun looking through all these events. The 4 characters. All of them were once innocent alive. What innocent and alive. This was the club. Back then all of this was happy. I can't believe where it's all gone. What a lovely visual novel. If it brings tears to your eyes, then it has done a good job. It's done a lovely job of bringing your emotions out. when you really are ingrained with the characters of the game. Holy Christ. Well, back to title. Wow. That definitely is everything, isn't it? Page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. I imagine these 6 are going to be for a future update of the game. You was the one for us. You saved us. I have a lot of questions right now, but I think I'm going to save it for another video when I've really calmed down from this emotional roller coaster. But this was an amazing game. This was so good. It was written beautifully, and it was written in a way that really captivates the players who play the game to the characters of the game, as if they were real life people. And there are lots of things in real life that can't immerse you like a game could, and this is definitely a game that immerses you into a real life scenario where you feel you have empathy for the characters throughout, all in all. With all the characters I feel sad for, even the deathly heartless Chihara at the end. Like, in both Shizao's good end and the secret route, Shizao was not corrupted or warped. She really, sincerely wanted to protect us, to protect BMC. But yeah, I'm so glad I backed up this project. And I'm so grateful for the community's kindness throughout the past few months. I've been at one of my lowest points in my life. After losing my dog to lung cancer, after losing my grandfather to a COVID, and losing my cousin to a coma. This community has been nothing but nice to me, and I don't know how I can repay it back. Thank you all so much for watching, and there'll definitely be more of this game out in the future. I just absolutely love this game. It brings out so much empathy, if you can relate towards the events, that is. Not the supernatural cases, but the events that transpired because of them. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you all in the next time. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. You are more than just characters on a screen. You are more than just coding. You are more than just characters in a game. You, the 4 of you, are my friends.